many different players there, Kelly. I cannot believe in those moments.
Okay.
Iamzo coming in clutch, bro. Oh, he's got
Like,
me over the moon
okay.
right now.
This is
Listen,
so
I said
sad.
it at the start of the
This
show.
is actually
You're like,
so
Josh and
sad.
Iamzo have this. Yes, I knew Iamzo and Josh have proven themselves time and time again this chapter, and seeing how they were able to handle that low ground, especially with all the chaos going on today, Vivid, that is how I
Oh, that
want to
was
start
so
Heat 3.
sad.
Game 1 might have been worth the wait after watching that one go down. Blink and you might have missed it. Somehow Iamzo finds the edge, right? Finds the high ground over the duo that
No
seemingly
way,
had it
like,
for the entirety of the end game.
man.
But if you took a quick
Oh.
peek at Clix and Higgs' loadout right before when they were on the high ground, they really had nothing to work with. So they had to kind of drop down and take the fight. But Iamzo just found the timing perfectly. And I gotta tell you, we were kind of talking about how we expected Iamzo and Josh to kind of play the low ground, play the mid ground. They did just that perfectly. As you can see, before Iamzo even clutches this moment up, they had 10 total eliminations, and then he just closes it out, picks up a total of 12, and wins the 1v2.
I will say, Zeke, in these moments, it's literally down to 3 final teams, and Iamzo and Josh are still
Like,
dropping
oh
items for each
my-
other.
yeah.
They're still communicating and allowing, it seems like they are still playing a completely different game where everyone else is just scrambling, trying to get those elims. They're still just calm and cool and collected, making sure that they are in the prime position that they need to be. That, I love to see it.
Oh my gosh. Shout outs to Zoe. Shout outs to Josh. We'll be seeing you guys next week in the finals, but still 4 more games ahead. And of course, 4 more VRs. And to end in the top 10 means we move on as well. More to unpack after this short break, so don't you go anywhere.
Oh my gang. Look at that. I want to show you us the FNCS. Will get copyrighted? Video will get copyrighted. Yeah, I guess I can. Okay, for now I'm just gonna put on mute. On my iPad, I will track down so we got perfect timing so we don't miss anything, chat. I don't want to get copyrighted and make it life and the life go down. I feel this actually so bad. Yeah. I'll just do free builds. I might hold up. Okay. Yeah, playing points. Wait, do I get 2 different points? What? Like, oh my god. I'm actually playing so good now. Yeah, let me not say anything. Like, oh my 100. Oh my. The thing is, Clix and Ruga live in the same house. Like, that can be very, very. I feel like Peterball just wow. Ruga just turns off his Wi-Fi mid FNCS natures. So not sad to say again. Okay. Go back to FNCS.
Shocked at that game. That was incredible. In case you missed it, Josh and Yamzo came out and won game number 1 in a solo clutch situation where Zoe had to pull out the win against Clix. It was incredible. Again, shout out to them. We'll be seeing them next weekend. But man, so many things happened in that game. Let's start at the beginning. Peterbot and Pollo, right? You know, for a while, we were kind of getting these wide, beautiful shots of the lobby, the chaos, high ground. I'm looking up, I'm like, Clix and Higgs, yeah. Then we turned into Peterbot. I'm like, hold on a minute. How many elims do they have? What's going on? Why is everybody falling like flies? It was crazy, Kelly.
I mean, I love that, you know, kind of started off a little bit standard, 3 eliminations. By Zone 7 isn't necessarily unheard of, but as the zone started to crawl, you can see we're still in Zone 7, but that is 5 eliminations. Oh, 7 eliminations now. You know what? Let's just make it 12 eliminations. And even when Peterbot goes down, you know that Pollo is here to prove himself time and time again. And he goes on for the aggressive. He goes to try and steal height as a solo player. Vivid.
I might have to go
Peterbot and
take a
Pollo
shower
are
in like
here
a
to
few more
show
minutes,
everyone
but
that just because
like an hour,
this
a
is
few
heats does
minutes.
not mean they're slowing down.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted nothing to do with high ground this game. They wanted to be in the mix of things. They wanted to be box to box with all of the other players, as many as possible. And it was pretty much any single time anybody got even close to their wall, they were just making edits on them. As you can see, after Peterbot went down,
Oh my
Pollo just went on an absolute tear for a little bit of a solo clutch right there. But yeah, when we tuned into them and they had 11 eliminations, 12 eliminations, and both of them were still up, I was like, oh my gosh. Here it is. We're going to get the 20 elimination game all ready. They were looking so good. That game primed up. I mean, they got to be towards the top of the leaderboard.
They got to be right. Shout outs to Polo as well. A little solo clutch for us out of game number 1, a top 5 to clutch it up. Ooh, that's what I like to see. Let's also talk about Clix and Higgs. They were dominating that high ground for so long. And I mean, shout outs to Higgs. So many situations where Clix is like, I'm gonna get active. Higgs is right there, right, ready to respond, ready to support. I feel like these guys are firing on all cylinders right now.
I mean, yes, both Clix and Higgs are firing on all cylinders, but I do have to give a special shout out to Higgs. Being able to be aware of the high ground, kind of paying attention to if anyone's trying to steal height from you, and then also drop down, get the refreshes, make sure that you guys are topped off. Yes, it inevitably did not go the way that they wanted it to go, but to be able to control high ground after such kind of, you know, chaoticness to the start of
That's
Heat 3, to be able to keep their cool, be able
I'm
to kind of
rooting for
what
you,
they
gang,
want
but like
in sight, in mind. That to me is what takes a
can't-
pro player
you
and
can't lose
separates
like
them
that,
from the rest of
bro.
the lobby.
they're better
I
than
mean,
that.
how did we get
They're better
so
than
many
that.
stories in that one end game right there? We got exactly what we wanted, right? Clix and Higgs defending off Pollo. Pollo almost clipping both of them for the 1v2. And then also Yamzo in the mix, right? Kind of returning to the trio. But yeah, I'm not going to lie. I kind of talked about it when we kicked things off here for Heat number 3. I was like, yeah, obviously we know Peterbot and Pollo, they want to go for the high ground. Clix and Higgs, it looks like they want to as well. And I'm not gonna lie, if I would have to take a guess, who would I thought would have been up on the higher ground? I would have guessed Peterbot and Pollo, but I was surprised to see Clix and Higgs had it for the entirety of the end game. So shout out to them. Well played end game.
Now, obviously, leading up to those final few moments, right? They did run out of gas, but you know, still they showed up in second place. If we're looking at consistency, that's a great way to start, right? So love to see that from them. I also wanted to highlight this Bugha in a solo clutch situation for quite some time. I mean, this is looking really good. And what's crazy is Bugha was the one that knocked Peterbot, right? So while they're going crazy, he's like, okay, all right, I've had enough. Peterbot, calm down. All right, everybody play out the lobby.
I mean, that means that Bugha is better than Peterbot, right? I mean, if you look at the accolades, if you look at the money earned, I don't know, there's disparities in money. But regardless, Bugha, time and time again, everyone likes it. And I'm going to be very candid with it. People like to always say that Bugha's washed. And then somehow, time and time again, he always proves himself, making it to every FNCF's grand finals, making it to the top 10. He just showcases that regardless of if this is 2019 or 2026, that he is still at the top of the leaderboard.
There was a time where Bugha and Miro were a duo, and I swear I remember watching that FNCS, and it's like the entirety of their points seemingly came from solo clutches. So it's kind of like returning to form, right? You don't really like to see a solo clutch because you're like, oh man, you could have done better if you were a duo, but sometimes that's where Bugha just feels comfortable. So great to see him kind of pick up some points there for the duo.
so exciting. I just cannot believe that was game number 1. Is there anything really quickly you guys are excited to see about game number 2?
Oh, sorry. I was about to say it be played out. Yes, I want to see Clix and Peterbot go up against each other again.
Yeah, I mean, hey, another great win like that. Some more solo clutches. I feel like we've gotten so many this weekend, and I just can't get enough of them.
Man, oh man. All right, we're just waiting on word here if the game is ready, and then we're gonna jump in. Man, this has been absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to see more. Can we get that VR out of Clix and Higgs, right? Can we get that VR out of Peterbot and Pollo? Could Bugha come out, surprise us all with Craze, and get one as well? Oh my gosh, so many stories. This heat is absolutely packed. And I can't believe it. 4 more games. Guys, we have 4 more games to go.
That's right. I mean, we've already had 30 teams punch their way into the FNCS Grand Finals. And now we get to add 1 more to that. 31. We have 14 to go for today. And then, of course, we have the last chance qualifier, Zeke. 5 more teams being able to make their way into the Grand Finals by the last strand of chance. Who's it going to be, Zeke? Well, we got to still figure out who 14 are going to go through today.
Let's find out right now, Kelly. Games are ready. So, casters, take it away.
I spoke too soon yesterday, Jake.
I'm back.
I thought we saw the play of 2026, and then Yamzo shows up, like, give us a second monster. We got Heat 3 here, and it's getting really exciting now. Let's jump on the bus for game number 2.
I don't get any ads anymore on Twitch. I got this free app from
I'm not sure
store.
what can match that type of height in that last game, but I thought that after Bolt's clutch, I thought that after Veno went crazy. Now it's Yamzo's turn, and we still have 14 more teams to qualify to the FNCS Grand Finals here today. But now that Josh and Yamzo have qualified, Frigid Fortress is now up for grabs.
This is not a bad drop by any means, right? It's got everything you quite literally need. And they had the whole drop to themselves, right? You saw it in the last round. I mean, they got super looted, then went for that little bit of middle off to that north outpost, and they were very much set up. I'm curious to see who is going to go ahead and step in and take that drop here now that it's opening up. Jumping in over at the Humble Hills, you can see teams are now just starting to touch base, get situated here in game number 2. Early action happening on the other side though. Kiffy and Feya. This is a fight in the last game. It went quite the distance, deep into the storm, and then far north towards the Sandies. So this time we'll see if Proxy and Tenya can put up a better fight, maybe somehow escape the wrath of Feya and Kiffy. They did a relatively good job defending themselves last time, and it seems like Feya and Kiffy are a bit passive here.
Yeah, and it looks like history might repeat itself, because remember that last time a third party came in, interrupted the fight, and that's exactly what's happening here. In the minimap, you see a third team rotating in, but Kiffy, Feya, they were at least they get one of those 2 eliminations. And Tenya almost fully boxed up.
See,
One
bro,
wall trying
like,
to
you're
protect
actually
himself, but it's
guarding.
not going to work. They break into the box, they get the full wipe.
She got second,
This
bro.
aided, they're already here, and they don't want to give them a chance to heal up.
Actually got lucky that Feya wasn't the one tagged there. I don't really know how weak he is just yet. Now, definitely the information's gotten across the table. Oh no, it's not looking good for Kiffy and Feya. They are both very weak. Aiden knows the wall.
If you've never played a rank cup before, that's the easiest cup ever. I get like 6 kills a game, even more.
But no, he goes down first. Here comes the new team now, standing right on top of them, and Feya has a little opportunity possibly to escape here. But no, Waffle Joe, Aiden are hot on his heels here. They don't let him escape at all. They get the elimination and the full finish. And look at this. Zifta and Slam, who are just walking on up here. Void watch from distance, listening. We knew that they like to play those huge surge towers, but you can't resist a good fight either.
I was thinking to myself, wait, I think I've seen this before. They're now the 4th party coming in, and good job for Aiden and Waffle to spot that out after the last second. They were able to build, they box up, just kind of making them rethink that situation. You can see there's a huge chunk of shield missing onto Slam, so you already know they don't have the resources to get that shield back. So we tune in. Carillion's down. Oliver trying to get the revive, and he saves the day. That's one of our contested fights on the north side of the map.
Very good. Right before that, Carillion actually took down Smack there as well. So they seem to be winning their off-spawn contestation very comfortably now for 2 games here. Peterbot Boyo, huge amount of points earned clearly
game.
coming out of that first the first game there. And I wanted to say, man,
Okay.
it was all Boyo's fault. You know, I know we're giving Iamzo the big clutch, but it's Boyo who put Clix and Higgs in that shambles position to begin with. He was just playing absurdly well. Look at this.
Didn't thin out the lobby. I wonder if that first time that Peterbot and Pollo fought Logan and his duo down there, maybe they're second guessing it. It might not be worth it. They already have their POI uncontested, and they get the gas station with the slurp truck just outside of it as well. So they have a ton of loot. Just don't need to be greedy in this situation, especially with a big solo clutch by Pollo to kind of keep them in line with a lot of the other teams that are performing well today. It's Taki landing some good damage onto Hazard and Chaotic. Just kind of accumulating that Storm Surge, so that one less thing to have to worry about as the game progresses. But landing over at Riptides, they were able to get that mythic Iron Pump. One of the few weapons in the game right now, Monster, that can one pump anybody, even if they're full health and shield.
Super powerful in the right hands. Taki, obviously a veteran here. Just to add to that Logan, like the Logan Peterbot dynamic, I think it's the opposite. I think Logan's like, hey, I can't believe we won that. I'm 1-0. Let's just stay away. We know what they're trying to do now, and we managed to survive the storm. So I think they're actually avoiding catastrophe by playing even further out from Peterbot and Pollo. We'll see if they end up clashing before the day's over. Jumping back with Zune and Noisy, though. We have Noah Blaze and Carbone just on their defensive stance right now. They're opting to play the low ground. Don't like what I see on the material count for Noah and Carbone. Seems like things are looking a bit rough here for them.
Careful, this is another team just south of the map. He's hearing the noise. He's getting a little curious here. Is this something he could land one shot, maybe jump into the box, take advantage?
I think I've been watching for
Carbone
30
to Noah
minutes.
Playing the low
Holy
side of this
lag.
fight, boxed up, making sure they have full control over their pieces, and this is a tough situation for Noah and Carbone. You can see their material count drastically low for being at this point in the game. So the longer they stay here, the less chances they're going to be able to accumulate anything. But I did see it in the feed. Higgs did get a drop onto 1-2 players, Oliver and Carillion. So that game-saving play to start the day might not mean so much with the aggression coming out from Clix and Higgs, but he takes a huge shot, drop down to 60 HP. That's going to allow for Higgs to
If you can watch the live stream, both streams.
try to give a little bit of pressure here. Allow for Clix to heal up and not allow for Carillion to do the same.
There's another set of points earned there for Higgs. They're gonna go ahead and dance on Oliver and Carillion there. So they might have won the drop, but unfortunately Clix and Higgs have a
How
strategy
far
of
back
base
am I?
leaves.
This is not the live.
Down.
Come on.
That's going
This is
against
not
this
the
one
live
as
stream.
well. Zyph though.
Why am I?
Perfectly, not to just get one, but both of those eliminations. Even if they don't get a lot of loot, it's the Storm Surge, I think, that's most important for that situation. As Cole and Madden trying to get out of Frigid Fortress. They land just north of the actual POI, east of the mountain where Oliver, OG, and Carillion land as well. It's a little bit of a split drop. They don't necessarily get a chance to get all of their resources, so they kind of stop places along the way to make sure they have the mats maxed up for the end game.
See how it's going to be looking now. So we're jumping on over with Bugha. We'll update with Craze here. It's playing a bit of a cheeky spot. You could call this a little lurk, if you will. Let's see if anyone's going to be walking by. Yep, they find Ties here in his duo. Couple tags set them up, but no knocks. Nothing fancy to really give them the reason to push here just yet. Time to rotate out.
I was gonna see great play for them. Again, Bugha crazed. They got a good feeling of how each other wants to play. They just kind of position towards the bush for Bugha. They're not necessarily trying to all out 50-50 fight, get eliminations here. He's just trying to build up the Storm Surge so that way he can make the rotations he does. Bugha's one of those players, as he IGLs, he likes to make far and slow rotations and get in on dead side of the zone overall. And right now, with the zone pulling towards the west,
We'll
he's
get,
staying
like, an
towards
ad
south
out.
of Battlewood. He might be
You
trying
know
to do
what I
that same
mean.
thing here.
You saw what Bugha does in the end game. This is really where he starts to shine. He's not a flashy mid or
So
early
much
game
more
player.
better
He
like
tends
that.
to pace himself very well, but end game, the tarping, the fighting, right? Like the game sense really kicks in. You can see that experience start to shine through. Taki and Void continuing to have their strong performance.
Oh,
What
what
they
is
can
that
make
shot?
happen here. A little update with their loadout situation. I mean, you talked about that mythic shotgun. It's looking very, very good for them right now. And they're just turning this whole entire building inside out. So they'll have plenty to work with, especially if the zone ends up continuing to pull this way.
And I know most people might already know, but at Riptides is one of the only places you can actually get that mythic shotgun. Just like Wonky Land has its little mini game, there's like a wait at Riptides that takes a long time to lift up if you're just going straight for it. But there are 6 different stakes around the POI. If you eat at least 3 of those, it'll make it to reduce that time so you can almost open it up like a chest. It's not a guaranteed mythic iron pump, but it's definitely high chances. And so far, 2 for 2 games, they were able to get it.
Yeah, I remember when this season dropped and I saw a clip of someone trying to lift that or like play that mini game. I was like, what is going on? This is Fortnite. Like, for real.
I want to figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out.
Here. It's a little bit of high ground over Craze and Bugha. Pop shots going out, but Bugha and Craze again playing for that dead side rotate. You can see there's really not too much
Honestly,
resistance.
test it
on
out.
the
Okay, I'm gonna
western
just
side
make
at
you
the
guys see.
moment. A couple teams are on their heels, but Craze just waiting for an opportunity to do something here.
Oh,
50 damage just like that from
choices.
Paper and Rezi. It's gonna connect. Just kind of caught out. We're going over towards Humble Hills. So where Paper and Rezi are now and where they have to go, you see there's different elevation changes and they have to go directly into a team that's positioned on the mountain. Towards their west, you see Bugha and Craze and they're kind of just trapped in the middle. We saw Paper before the rotation take 50 damage. There goes Rezi taking over 100 damage. So this is putting Paper and Rezi in a position to where they might have to fight later on in this game or maybe even right now depending on what they're at in Storm Surge.
Continue to take their time. Clean rotates here all through the valley. On the other side, though, take a look at the fight going down right now. We already knew the warnings were coming out. It's going to force players to battle, but the Vayne and Wave, man, having quite the tough game, too. They're 160 below. 81 players standing, so quite a fair stretch before the surge is going to turn off here.
Not going to be easy at all. Again, they're just rotating in the direction of where all players are already positioned on different mountain ranges. Even if they're not on an actual mountain range, they got a surge base, so not going to be very easy to rotate in, especially if you don't actually do have the shockwaves. For Clix and Higgs, you can see the zone pulling on over towards the western side of the map. We saw early rotations in game number 1. In game number 2, they're sticking to their strategy over here at Wonky Land. They go ahead and build up on that Ferris wheel. And I talked about 2 different rotations, and already you see they're building up towards the top of Wonky Land. This is where you can glide in using the different effects with the fizz, with the actual shockwave as well. There's another one, a secret one, where if you use that full combination and you go through the Ferris wheel, that launches you so far, and if you can combine that with the different rifts that are on the map with low gravity, it extends how far you can actually go. You can almost cover the whole distance of a map in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, definitely one of the stronger strategies that are available right now, and that's what makes Wonky such a powerful drop, right? And in the hands of Clix and Higgs, we'll surely see it before the finals is up. For now, they've earned a lot of points in that game 1, right? So, like, one more end game like that, and regardless of you get the dub or not, I think they'll be just fine. Seem to be playing exceptionally well. Think about Chimpy and Liam here.
I think they did pretty well in terms of Storm Surge in that last game. It's just right now 21 above. They realize they can be comfortable here, position themselves where they need to be, but in the back of their mind, whether if it's this zone or the next, they need to start getting damage because they eventually will fall under the damage threshold if they sit where they're at now. could be similar for Lawrence and Joe, 231, but they position themselves on the edge, so any team rotating in from either Wonky Land, Scribbly Shores, maybe a little bit towards the south, it's going to give them ample opportunities like this, a little bit of a wide edit, so they have a clear view on players trying to use shockwaves to get in.
Coming to the other side, though. Look at this. Crazy and Bugha finding their little position in the action here. He's going to go ahead and take a couple of those slices of pizza, get his HP right back up and into the mix. And there's some options of loot to pick from here, but the fact that they're not pouncing at the opportunities is showing us that they're being very cautious, and they really are concerned with the Storm Surge right now. They've done just enough to stay in the game here. Talk about those smart rotates, trying to play dead side, and it all pays off right here as the zone ends up landing right on top of them. Here comes the reinitiation. This is a very smart fight, right? Not waiting for the surge to kind of give them the warning, but instead knowing that, hey, there's definitely danger nearby. The rest of the lobby recognizes what's happening too. A bit of pressure coming from different angles here, so they kind of ease up right now, but they will have to find some fights here shortly.
Yeah, and depending on how much damage they took from the double lobby spray, they might have to fight the next best team, which would be Bugha and Craze. Enpen and Jack off was suffering the Storm Surge, but only 5 below the damage threshold. This is where you're kind of threading the needle here. Do you go for a big play, a shotgun shot in the box, or you just try to stay far away? But at this point in time, everybody is rotating, and even if you find yourself above like they are now, they have to rotate too. So it's only going to get harder and more dangerous as they continue to push forward on this next rotation. And timing is definitely of the essence because they are in a current active 5-tick zone.
Yeah, and you can see that although they went to the Dark Dominion for that extra loot, it was going to be their biggest mistake as the zone pulls back across the Peterbot. Meanwhile, just doing what he does, man. Finding the important eliminations at the tail end, I would say, of the mid game, early end game now, and that's going to really reward them with the maps that they're going to need to play well here. Clix Higgs already positioning up in metal. This is a sign that they're looking to base down and stay completely out of sight for a little bit here. Look at that, 550 above. They're playing very, very well. And again, from one highlight to another, Jacob, Peterbot continues to do what he does here. Flowberry Mist is going to keep him alive. Storm does the rest for him. I mean, they already were a 5-5-5 cap, and then they get the follow-up finish there, and they're just sitting on an abundance of loot there.
Yeah, just got to be careful there because they did a good job of getting the Elim, but they traded shots. They only went 40 up in terms of Storm Surge. We jump on board Moxie along with Wolf, just trying to survive the lobby spray. 280 below the damage threshold. Shots pouring in from all directions, but they have to start to get active. They don't really have resources to heal this. They almost need 2 full eliminations worth of damage. So that's why they have to be persistent with the pressure on Nicole and Madden. But somebody just jumps up out of nowhere. Moxie lands the shot, but Wolf does go down, realizing you have to get more damage. Can't be the hero, can't go for the revive. Looking for whoever that was down below. Now Surge is activating, trying to take advantage of the actual shield, but just seconds too late, trying to get the box. Moxie and Wolf will fall.
So close right there to actually turning that one around, but that low ground shot was a huge surprise and just put her teammate down, unfortunately. Look at this though, Peterbot playing the late storm rotate as well. Bugha goes for the early one here. He's gonna get front side of the beginning of the safe zone here. Craze is here to back him out. They're already through most of their heavy material though. This is quite a situation right now.
Don't even necessarily need it. They already have the 2 eliminations. They're well above the damage threshold. But when opportunities like that come by, you don't let them slip through your fingers. Just accumulating more surge, more points for the actual eliminations. But Peterbot and Poyo, 3 eliminations on to Peterbot. We know how he's getting those eliminations. He's trading big damage, so he's not necessarily going up the Storm Surge leaderboard overall. But a quick lobby spray in that direction. They're able to get 20 more damage to their totals, but they still have a long way to go and a rotation to make that's going to make it difficult.
Higgs is by himself right now, so actually lost Clix on that rotate even after getting that elimination there. That was only a 3rd Elim here in the game, so Clix now just has to watch here from the sideline. Higgs goes all in on this player here. And look at the speed of which he was about to actually find that elimination, but that player just barely slips away. The Storm, though, is on the edge. There's the finish. I think he even had a little bit of surge pressure there, too. So Higgs just recognizing that that was an Elim waiting to get picked up. Well played for him. Meanwhile, breaks out the outside now, and here he goes to the new zone. We've seen Higgs every highlight now just playing the mist kind of effect into a shockwave here. There's just so much happening here in this endgame.
Yeah, just trying to get to the front side of the zone as solos is a necessity. It's King and Aviv finding crucial eliminations here. You can see King from 20 builds to 60. He just got stacked off of that elimination, plus the heals that they're able to get. For Aviv and King, remember, they won 2 different games in one of the eval finals, and I'm the guy that's thinking, what have you done for me lately? So hopefully they continue that hot streak here today. Taki and Seek trying to break into the box. That team's going to go ahead and disengage on out, giving priority on this rotation to Taki and Seek as they make their way towards the front. High ground early on, Muss and his duo up above, and this is where we're going over mountains. Some recycled builds, Monster, so it's not going to be easy opportunities for them to get elims.
Yeah, talk about light builds though. Look at this. Bugha, Craze already running out. They're forced to kind of play this mid-ground layer. They're just trying to rat across, right? Break into enemy builds, see if they can find someone waiting there, but no, Bugha actually gets caught off. Meanwhile, Higgs is playing the Storm right now, and they get spotted out. Higgs is using that effect to bounce all the way out and around, and this is something you rarely see a rotate like that, but Higgs is just so smart at reading the Storm right there. Excellent map knowledge, excellent awareness of the builds that are available as well, and the ability to play around it. And this is why he's clutching up points right now.
Yeah, Praise is trying to do the same thing. Got a couple of extra placements, but wasn't able to pull it very far. So now it's really up to Higgs, and this is something, when they first formed, Clix and Higgs were looking good. They went through a little bit of a drought where they were forced to solo clutch each of them. And I think Higgs is one of the guys that can pull up a lot of points by himself. Peterbot and Pollo using the shockwave merely for the effect. He's trying to get towards the front. High ground has to dip down. You got to wonder what their build is. Light as Higgs picks up another elimination here. Finding some struggles, actually picking it up, but he hits another haymaker, but eventually he gets flanked, taken down, sent back to the lobby.
Peterbot and Pollo actually found 2 as well, and Pollo goes into the Storm, trying to bring back some heals, but unfortunately couldn't find enough there. So Peterbot desperately low right now, still fighting on the edge. Meanwhile, you have Golden and Old Zone, 5 elims right now, cooking up in the mid layer as well. There's a lot happening on the low ground though. Everyone I see down there is just in shambles here. And we'll see as it plays over this water terrain. This is only going to get more and more difficult here. No one is looking really healthy at this given time. This is going to just be a full-on blender fest coming up.
Yeah, nobody's really solidified themselves as the high ground.
Pollo.
That one got chopped down. Pollo does it again. I'm already getting that feeling of deja vu, but that one shortly ended. Muss returns to the scene of the crime. He was the one on high ground, ran out of builds, gets the back-to-back, and puts himself right back on top. High ground here is so important because look how in shambles everybody is down below.
I'm telling you, when you just look at the builds, no one's got anything, but Madden is living off the siphon in a dream right now. Although he's a solo, everyone might as well be one as well because no one's got builds. It is now a solo, a 1v1v1. Madden's on the low ground. Winner takes all and goes to finals here, Jacob.
A lot of pressure, but Lulu already got 2. He took down the only duo left in this game, but now he's in a 1v1. Gets the control, gets the piece, and he gets the elimination. 1v1. All that work for this against Muss, who takes that first tick of Storm damage. Nobody really has a huge lead here in terms of HP, but Muss fighting tooth and nail, not giving up. The chomp is in. Lulu gets the elimination. 8 eliminations by himself and a trip to the grand finals. Congratulations.
I already knew. I knew something crazy was going to happen. When you start looking at the builds, look at the total effective HP, and you're on the low ground, and no one's got anything. That's how that game's going to crumble there.
Wow. Dude, these games in Heat 3 have just been so chaotic. I mean, when we're coming down to a 3-way 1v1v1, what is happening in these games? But shout outs to the duo Along and Lulu. Lulu coming in clutch, 8 elims. Now they're going to be making their way to next weekend's finals, Kelly.
I mean, when it comes down to Heat, it is all about chaos because it's all about the desperation, Zeke. Everyone wants to make sure that they do not have to go through that last chance qualifier where everyone from Div 1 to Div 5 has that chance to make it through. No, this is where they want to go through, and that is exactly what Alongo FM and Lulu have done today.
That is
exactly their destination at Grand Finals. And I gotta tell you guys, I've been saying it all weekend, every single time it happens, this is gonna be the first time for both Alonso and Lulu that they're gonna make a trip to an FNCS Grand Finals. And in
Come on,
what
Pixie
fashion?
boy.
That is incredible. As you can see right here, we're turning with the Lulu POV, and that was top 11 as a solo. Who knows
I'm
how
not
far
watching
back
FNCS.
this run actually went?
FNCS
It was just all
pitch
the
is not
chaos. Kelly
playing.
MDF was
Not
constantly
fun.
calling it out. Nobody had any mats, and somehow the refreshes that just kept getting
Should've
found
fun.
inside of the storm just kept the push going here for Lulu. And I gotta tell you, Kevin,
Yeah.
the shots that some of our players make, like builds are breaking, you have the high ground, you're getting dropped down. Like, how is the last shot possible? I swear, I used to play this game professionally, and sometimes I'm like, wow, incredible stuff.
With the launch up 2 to take high and get the final elimination,
that.
Lulu
What?
148 is definitely feeling good right now, Zeke.
Oh my gosh, stunned on that lobby for no reason. Okay, well, for the duo, they'll be making it to the finals. I'm excited to see what they might be preparing this week, what they might be looking to bring to that finals lobby, because the summit awaits. I cannot wait. Oh my gosh. Okay, right now, we're gonna go to break. When we come back, we'll start to prepare ourselves for game number 3. So we'll see you real soon.
Gosh. Okay. One more. Oh my bloody god. Oh my. On break right now? FNCS right now is on break. Oh my bloody god. So about my grandmother. My idea got it. You know how bad you are. Oh my god, horror. I can make a free build map right now in like a step. And straight up get it right. I'm gonna spin Rocket League. I am too fast. What is this? Oh, let's go. What the? Good translator. Oh, this is sick. Sicky sick. 1 minute until I can. 1 minute before the talk, then make the talk. Make it rainy. Very rain. Very rain. The rain. Very rainy. Very rainy. Very rainy. BRD rainy. Rainy. It's speedy rainy. The fuck Halala. Engines fart. You a shata looter. Like in me and you paguga. Ooh. Oh. Yeah, I think that's good for the now. I am going into the Buddha, dude. Now what the grass? Or you get to fall back.
chickens are the closest related relative to the Tyrannosaurus
American
Rex.
eagle.
And if you look at chickens compared to humans, they outnumber humans 1 to 4. So the next time you want to go up against someone and you want to fear the chicken, that's a good fear to have, because pollos are dangerous, and Pollo once again proves it here at NAC.
All right, I think Kelly's going with the strength in numbers philosophy right now, but I think Pollo's going the exact opposite route, right? He's proven time and time again he doesn't need a teammate. I mean, yeah, maybe to like get him to the end game, that obviously helps, but once he's there, Pollo constantly showing up with these solo clutches. Not before though. I mean, Peterbot, obviously we know him. He's going to pick up some eliminations before he goes down, but right now doesn't look like Peterbot and Pollo are going to be winning any of these games. They're kind of just going for some sort of elimination record because they cannot let go of that W key, constantly finding themselves in some sort of a fight no matter what point of the game we are in.
9 elims, right? My goodness, they are going crazy. Yeah, I feel like sometimes they could just get themselves a win, or sometimes they could just terrorize the lobby and put everyone else on notice. Another duo that did well, obviously, Clix and Higgs. I mean, we're seeing them perform. They haven't quite gotten to that same like place we did last game, right, where they had height and everything was good. We saw, you know, a couple mistakes here and there, but again, it's just these lobbies, right, Kelly? They're so chaotic, and you know, if this was a finals, you might be able to have some kind of plan, but heats, man, it's just a different story.
And I think especially like you're saying, when it comes down to heats, you're going to go with the tried and true
6-7 on a Merry
strategy. We know
Christmas and
that
a
Higgs especially
Happy
loves to
New
run the low ground. If you
What?
actually look at the play-ins performances, for this heat, he has the most builds placed. And that is definitely due to the fact of how he likes to run low ground, especially when you get into these later zones. He loves to push forward into Storm and build out multiple like boxes there to be kind of like stopping everyone else to pushing front zone from him. So I think that's kind of what we're seeing Higgs and Clix kind of fall back into, less so going for the high ground and more so going for that control of the front zone.
I mean, just tough break there for Clix as well. I swear, anytime you tune into like a healthy one of our top teams throughout this season, right? And they're having like a healthy game. They try to make some sort of a rotate with those overdrive grenades, and they combine it with the mist. You're just in the air for so long, you know what I mean? You can get beamed out so easily. I feel like it just happens so much this season. So many of our teams good at aiming, and they're well aware of those rotates. But yeah, tough break there for Clix. Higgs still goes on to pick up a couple points as a solo, so they're still going to be, you know, fine in terms of the consistency standard.
I mean, Higgs also, you saw the very moment, that last moment there right before he was eliminated, he dropped 170 over onto Peter, right? So that might have been what led to Peterbot ultimately going down and Pollo having a solo clutch. So it's crazy that even when he goes down, he's going down swinging. Oh my gosh. We also saw another duo I don't myself know too much about, Muzz and Liquid. In that last game, Muzz was left as a solo, but man, they were moving and grooving.
No, we say, you know, multiple times during the heats of the competition that we love this opportunity for some of these lesser known teams to kind of get this opportunity to shine. And what better way to shine than all the way on high ground for Liquid and Muzz FC? Just a handful of eliminations and making sure that once high ground was kind of contested, they did a pretty good job trying to recover, trying to drop down a little bit, and even being able to still hold high ground as a solo player. Muzz definitely proved themselves here in heat number 3.
Yeah, fully thought Muzz honestly had this right, because I knew, yeah, the build count on the side of Muzz was just so healthy compared to pretty much the rest of the lobby at this point in the game. I think when we tuned into him in one of those final moments, he had like 80 builds available. So I was like, oh yeah, definitely got this. And that would have been their first time in grand finals as well. So no matter who won that 1v1, we were getting first timers in the grand finals.
Why
But,
took a diamond from
game
this?
like that from the duo, that's going to be boosting the confidence. I mean, obviously, yeah, you didn't get the win, but getting that second place and some eliminations, that does so
Why
well
took a
on the leaderboard.
diamond
So they're gonna
from
be up
the
there
moon?
in the top of the leaderboard as well.
Yeah, oh my goodness, guys, 30 seconds left before we get the ball rolling again. What are we thinking, Kelly? You know, we kind of had this discussion at the start of the show, high ground. Are we seeing enough players look up? That was kind of the big thing you called out. We need to just be looking up and not let that happen.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, between the names that we're seeing that are actually controlling high ground right now, it definitely seems like no one is afraid to look up, and I think that is perfect right now. But for me, I want to see some of our bigger names take that high ground and turn it into a win.
Okay, we'll have to see if that happens here. Game number 3 is ready, so casters, over to you.
This is that pivotal halfway point, game number 3, where it really kind of controls your destiny and really decides how much control you have over the rest of the game. Do you get to play freely for the win or placement, or do you have to go for the win? Right now, Monster, that threshold is 63 points.
Yeah, I feel like we've been very distracted by the fact that these wins have been so good, so explosive, and honestly extremely entertaining. But we do have to start focusing on who is in that race, like you're talking about here, Jacob, because yeah, it does matter playing consistent as well.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where you kind of look at the games go by, you just try to get as close to the top of the leaderboard as possible, not save it for that last and final game, because we saw yesterday literally points differentiating who goes to the grand finals and who doesn't. Game number 3 is ready, so let's just jump right into it.
I think you have good
All
enough
right,
talk
game
on.
3 now is kicking off here. So what have we seen so far? A lot of endgame action, big
Like a
teams, of
SMG.
course, popping up and showing up when it matters most. But to drive that story about consistency, you have to win your drop spot first. And this is where you still have a chance to turn things around, right? Game 1, game 2 are out the window. But if you do well in 3 like solid games back to back, you can still be in the conversation. Talk about that Frigid Fortress that opens up after Yamzo's victory there. Take a look at this. You even have the likes of Paper and Resi landing here, really getting desperate.
Yeah, almost everybody that's landing here at Frigid Fortress now chose to stray
Map
away
is for
from
me,
a
I guess.
contested fight.
I don't
Lo and
think I will
behold,
ever
it becomes
post
triple
this.
contested, worst
Maybe
situation
actually,
than that
but-
was before. Or fight over towards 4 fields.
Yeah.
Frosty, Kenya versus Faya and Kiffy. Early lead already going down, as Kenya is going to be the first one dropped. 2v1 situation, but Kiffy makes the play by himself, saving the day. And it's much quicker this game than every other game so far, negating any possibility of a third party sneaking up on you.
Yeah, it's only gotten faster so far, and I think they recognize that last game. I called it. I was talking about how passive they were and kind of taking that initial engagement. Seems like they've learned, but look at this, Peterbot Boyo. What are you guys up to? What are you doing here?
Shine
We're
bright
playing musical
like a
chairs
diamond.
right now because I don't see Clicks and Higgs anywhere in Wonky Land. Peterbot, Poyo, we kind of all knew some sense of this might go on. There's like, I don't know if it's a personal beef, in-game beef between Peterbot and Clicks, but the two biggest names in Fortnite right now constantly going head-to-head. Peterbot and Poyo looking to
I have to go
contest
take
their
a shower.
drop, but guess who has
Just,
a
like-
9,000 IQ? Higgs and Clicks making the call, say, hey, this might be the game. They go over and steal the Squibbly Shorts drop spot to make sure that they are uncontested.
There's no way they can read them that well, though, right? Like, Peterbot and Boyer surely can't be that predictable that Clicks and Higgs are just, you know, that far ahead of them mentally when it comes down to the strategy.
Neat shotgun.
Going off by previous heats, I think it was around like 145 or so. The points kind of get
Give me
towards if
that.
they're looking to make it in through consistency. Clicks and Higgs about 30 points away. That's like a top 10 in this game. And they'll be sitting safe for the rest of the tournament, or at least you'd think so. But how this game goes, they have to change up their strategy, whole different drop. They're going to prioritize rotating in, not even necessarily looting their POI. They're probably in the back of their mind, they think Peterbot and Poyo knows we're not at Wonky Land. They're probably going to key the next place they think, which would be Squibbly Shorts. Craze and Booga remain uncontested, but this time around, the Battlewood Boulevard gets a little bit of a boost. You get an extra % chance of the rare chest dropping and a little bit more gold. So for Booga and Craze, they might be eating good this game.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, I see some not
We've
a
already seen
good
them
bunch
pretty
in
well
here.
positioned. I mean, last game they had somewhat of an issue with Surge, but that was the later half of the end game, not necessarily early on. Finding their success in the fights. We talked about successful battles. Of course, Ozone and Golden we saw there, getting their hands a little dirty in that end game too, before falling around zone 7 or so, but what's happening here? Full fight. Cynics is in the box. He's gonna go ahead and clutch this one out. Win his ones, and just like that, Painted Palms is now theirs, but there's another team or two watching what's happening as Tragic lurks up into the box.
I feel like this game is moving at a
Pressure.
much quicker pace. You said it yourself, 2 other teams, Tragic thought they were the only
That's a
ones
bunch
lurking
of
over
shit.
in that direction. Well, they get a surprise for sure as Tragic gets
Hello?
down, trying to shockwave away. Vibes is there along with Cynics. They definitely turned the tables in an instant. They had no idea how many teams were there, but now it looks like they have a huge advantage trying to clean up that elimination, grab the body first, make sure they're able to get every scrap of the loot from this.
No.
See it from the other POV here. Yup, that's the quick elim right there. I was a little confused why he shockwaved out the way he did, knowing that you just gave away your position to
No.
the team that you was on top of.
Okay, I'm going to see you guys. I'll be back.
But they're gonna be regretting that now. They didn't actually get the second teammate though, right? So he's still up.
Yeah, he kind of got saved though, because once that third party comes in, it kind of slows things down. That's Percent on the side, but then there's another team, Carbone and Noah plays. They get flanked there for a moment. Percent barely surviving a whole nother duo, and it's just like, how long can you deal with pressure just like this? He's already at a reboot van, but it's so crowded. You almost got to continue going towards the north, towards the outside of the zone, and hopefully these guys get bored here and rotate in, because I'm not sure how many other reboots are near this location.
Yeah, I like how Carbone and Noah are like, oh, perfect, we're gonna be lurking this fight. Nope, there was 2 teams and the solo already doing the same exact thing. So just a lot happening there. Aviv tingling right now back on the studios, just capping out material here. So see them farming this scaffolding for all the metal. Loadout's looking very strong. We haven't seen too much of a big performance them, you know, just yet in the end game. Clix and Higgs though, adopting again a new strategy, if you will. Obviously mixing things up right now to avoid the pursuit of Peterbot and Pollo. They're gonna have to find a fight, right? They're gonna need to find some new damage here.
Yeah, typically you can kind of wait for Wonky Land. We saw in that last game, they're able to get the jump on Oliver OG and Carillion, waiting for them at the top of the mountain. This time around, they haven't had much practice or reps landing at this spot in a set lobby and having to rotate elsewhere to try to get damage. They did get, I believe, a pump or 2 in there, but they're just happy with what they got as they rotate on out. You can see the edge of the zone, so it's already pulling towards the north, a little bit towards the center. Sandy Strip just on the edge. This is where Power, Penta, they land and kind of hover over here on this side of the map, and they have the luxury as well. That blob, you're able to use that with the shockwave to cover distance quickly.
I like to add, it said no mercy, no decaf. It's hilarious. Jumping with Goal's little high ground base here. Kind of editing through the cones to look around. Not a player in sight though. Just went off to the outskirts. Might even be his teammate there. Be Madden. Yep, that is Madden on the outside, just trying to cap material right now.
I have to imagine for Surge, this has got to be a little bit of a better game for them, because they went from Josh and Yamzo at Frigid Fortress by themselves, and then they went to nobody really beating there, and then they went to a triple contested fight. So there's a lot of chances for them to try to get some Storm Surge with the way the map has changed up in each and every passing game. When we go back on over to this side of the map, Tragic, you see him in the background. He is rebooted, back on, ready to go. And we have another team, Aiden and Waffle. Typically, they would go towards 4 fields to get their early Storm Surge damage. Back-to-back games, they've third-partied it. But this time around, that fight ended so quick, they have to look elsewhere for their Surge.
Doing a good job so far. I'm walking up here, but spending a lot of time in the storm here for Yuki and Carlitos. They're gonna have to back off and heal here shortly. I'll jump in with Vlex. Haven't seen too much of him on the evening. See it. So he's in a storm, skating around the outside as well.
I know it's still early. We still got this game to play out. We got game 4 and game 5, but again, the point threshold around 63 points in terms of consistency. Light and Vlex, they're about 20 points ahead of the curve. So as long as they honestly continue to have not even necessarily the best, they don't even need first, second, third places. They just need to remain consistently in the top 8 to hold on to their spot. Definitely making it sound easier than it actually is, especially from what we witnessed not only today, but throughout the weekend so far. You jump on over to Dozier and Ishu, 6 games in the play-ins the most of any team, and that's impressive. I know it's kind of like a different feel playing through opens than in a set lobby, but even the best of the best don't usually get 6 wins. It goes to show that they're practicing the blueprint, probably playing for high elim and high ground games.
I was thinking about yesterday's point cutoff as well, right? Remember how many teams had 175 points? And when you look at the overall lobby stats and you compare it to this Heat lobby here, this set lobby, I mean, they're not too far off. So although the cutoff here is it's around the 60 range, that can change. That number can change really quickly, right? Depending on how the points begin to spread out and kind of funnel up towards the top here.
Huge part of that is depending on, like, if you're in game 3, game 4, top of the leaderboard, win a game, you essentially move that entire leaderboard up just a little bit. Kind of giving the other teams a little bit of a cushion, but the zone continues to pull towards the north side of the map. And this is where, hey, you might have made a decision to triple contest the Frigid Fortress, but if you were able to make it off spawn, if you were able to get a loadout plus materials and maybe some heals, you're likely positioned pretty well right now, so it might be a decision that works out for you in the end. As you go back on over to Light and Flex, they do pick up an elimination here, get a little bit of extra resources, but zone pulling away, which means they're on a clock here to figure out when and where they're going to start to rotate towards the zone.
Carlitos' team, remember, they were the one that we saw really low on HP. The first to disengage from the lurk. And they had some heals to work with, but it seems like they spent a little too much time in the storm and they got caught out. Light and Flex there. Aviv and King here finding a couple elims when we looked away for a moment there. Make that 4 actually now. Sus Studios bringing the action here. Must have been teams coming for these mending machines or something nearby because they are swimming in loot right now.
Some extra med kits, big pots. How did they get so much gold? Well, they already have 3 elims. Yep, exactly what you said, Monster. Trying to visit that mending machine. No, there are so many on the map. This one is ours. That's what Aviv is putting down right now, making sure to cross anyone off their list that looks to go and move through Sus Studios. Sandy Strip just outside of the POI. Again, you can see a lot of players slow to rotate in this time around, and rightfully so. We see how chaotic the mid portions of the game are when you're actually inside of the zone. So a lot of these teams are trying to dodge any risk of taking damage.
See it though. Obviously using their chug jugs right now. Probably gonna end up leaving this one behind here, swapping for someone else. Hold up, Peterbot, Boyo in a bit of a fight right now. Boyo's definitely damaged, but he got the exchange here. He's got a knock, and Peterbot's stepping up to finish the deal. This doing exactly what he needs to, just giving them a little bit of time to work with. And how's he still up? Just rolling in the box here, I'll never know.
His teammate already went down. Boyo pressuring from the bottom to try to make it a little bit easier for Peterbot to try to get that elimination shot off. But he realized, hey, this is Peter, this is Boyo. We can't stay in this position. I got a shockwave out if I have any hope of getting back into this game, and really did just catch him off guard. And that's been the thing we've seen from Peterbot and Boyo so far in some of their fights, is they do attack from 2 different sides, catching so many players off guard.
And that was with a third party shooting at him there too at the end. Somehow still managed to close it out, and that third party just thought twice after the Elam fell through for Curly and Oliver OG. Much better game for them after being eliminated early last game by Clix and Higgs, but little drop spot between Peterbot and Boyo now. Clix and Higgs back here. Everything's ending and collapsing at the wonky land. It seems like we will likely get that engagement between the two. And who better than Clix and Higgs to kind of play this end game out? But Peterbot and Boyo have already showed us that they know the strategies here. They know just as how to play this just as well, if you will.
Touch just outside of the Ferris wheel. Probably one of the highest positioned teams as of now. The mountain truly hasn't opened up on the north side of the zone. So for Clix and Higgs, 155 above the damage threshold. Honestly, I don't think in terms of where they're at now in comparison to every other game they've landed Wonky Land, I don't think it's just too different. They're at their POI, they're above the damage threshold, they have a decent loadout. So it's almost looking like business as usual at this point in time for Clix and Higgs. Madden and Cole really taking advantage of the zone. while other teams qualified out of Frigid Fortress, the mountain towards the north, Cole and Madden has been a staple on that side of the map, and they're quickly putting it to use, rotating quickly towards Wonky Land. They're not necessarily attaching themselves to that top mountain because majority of the lobby does believe that it is going to pull towards the south instead of towards the north.
Yeah, this is just all intuition now, right? All speculation, if you will. We don't know where the zone's gonna go. It's gonna go north. So those that made the decision to play up there a little sooner instead of later, gonna get rewarded here now. Crazy and Bugha though get spotted out by Peterbot Pollo. The edit open there and they immediately get punished for it. Surge is active here, giving the lobby the warning now. How far they need to go. Peterbot Pollo have the luxury to move late here, and they can even use the boosted rotate if they really want to try to take some clean high positioning. We'll see what they end up doing. It's a risk either way. Flurry on the other side though, under some serious pressure below the surge. Damage coming through. Shots from the left and right sides. It's gonna be Bobby picks up the quick elim there, putting them at 2.
Good elim for them because it's not necessarily the 3 points that they're getting, but it's the Storm Surge that's really just been crushing dreams all weekend long. Almost 400 above. You can see the strikes of lightning going off in the distance for players that might not have that same luxury, that same feeling of comfortability. These Clix and Higgs, they're 200 above, instantly position themselves in towards zone. Now they're looking back of every other team that either has to rotate in by foot or really taking advantage of those shockwaves being used. Waffle Joe taking the brunt force of that damage and focus overall. And this is where it's going to really start to get interesting, because if we pull anywhere else but the eastern side from here on out, we are good, Monster. If we pull towards the east on top of that mountain, you better buckle in because it's going to be a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, definitely. This one gets really steep here. For Higgs, I'm looking at his ammo count, though. It is not looking too good, man. They are starting to gas out early here. And that's what happens when you don't have your usual draw spot. You're going to try to avoid Peterbot Pollo for what it's worth. Meanwhile, Waffle, though, lost his teammate 480 below. It doesn't get worse than this. He is the lowest on the standings. But hey, the lobby gets the brief here, Jacob. It doesn't go east. It's going to come back south, right back into old builds.
Yeah, and depending on kind of how he plays this, there will be other teams trying to rotate first, beat him to the punch, but 400, he just doesn't have the time to wait. That's over 2 full eliminations. He tries to approach onto one, but gets flanked by a whole nother team. Down he goes, outside of placement, leaving it to the last 2 games of the day to try to pick up either a win or enough points to make it in through consistency. Peterbot and Pollo quickly rotating on over. Necessarily haven't had too many big worries in this match, but I don't know if they know that's Higgs or not, but they're ready to drop on top. Pollo ends up into the box. Big shots can be fired, but both of them being dropped down low to just a little bit of HP. Peterbot and Higgs need their teammates to alleviate the pressure, and that's exactly what Pollo's trying to do. Click's doing the same thing on the other side, and for now, the dust is settling. Both teams will live to tell the tale, since they still have to rotate towards the south into the next zone.
You got to give respect, though. Excellent ambush. Peterbot, I mean, Higgs' reaction was so fast to block out Peterbot just in time and actually make it a 2v1 and then a 1-to-1 head-to-head while, you know, the teams were kind of going back and forth tit for tat there in the engagement. That could have gone either way for both sides because it did not go as planned. But there you have it. That's what a high-level engagement looks like, right? When the 2 best of the best go toe-to-toe, you can see it is dangerous times here, and it costs you a lot. Pollo and Peterbot had already committed so much to, you know, bounce up to the high ground, make this strong structured base, and then play for a refresh right there. And for it to not go in their favor, now look, they're forced to low ground, trying to fight a different team, right? Because they are actually desperate now for a refresh.
Yeah, they're running out of builds, especially the way they play. They go crazy, grabbing every single piece. That's where they're trying to break into the box. Someone just trying to run away further and further, but they're quickly hot on the heel. The fact that nobody has even shot in their direction yet is huge, as they finally pick up that elimination onto Joe. Almost 400 above the damage threshold, but again, still, in comparison to probably where they want to be, they don't have a ton of materials, but it's rotating towards the south, back on over towards Wonky Land. They can go right back up to the high ground and try to solidify it as their own.
We were just talking about Aviv and King and managed to really get their groove going, kind of play into an endgame, and finally they're here, kind of situated now. But look at this, Peterbot, Higgs, Pollo all going back to back now, clashing once again here for the high ground, but Higgs forced to concede it to give it up. But Peterbot's got his number. He's pressuring down. They want to get this finish. They want that fight. But Bugha and Craze are also here in the conversation. They're going to be the last one standing up top. And I don't even think they realize they're the team on high ground, right? All this action happening here. You see, you know, players chasing one another. It's only now they start to recognize, I think, that they're the team on top.
Yeah, I just got to be careful. I think they're being very, very cautious of the shockwaves, of the fizz. That can turn the tables in a moment's notice, especially if you get caught off guard. But Higgs and Clix, they survive multiple onslaughts from multiple teams. Here comes another one as Higgs gets dropped down to less than 40 HP, trying to go ahead and maneuver around, waiting for Clix and him to reunite, but it's not slowing down or stopping just yet. Peterbot and Pollo strike again. Down goes Clix. Higgs is trying to survive, quickly gets on out, but he's burning through his materials. No extra heals. He's forced in another solo clutch position.
It's crazy. I'm just trying to think to myself, how do they keep on finding Higgs and Peterbot, right? Like, it's just like they have their number on them. Peterbot, Pollo, though, bouncing right back in. Yes, sure, they might be low on material, but they're back to being healthy, and this is where they're hunting right now. And the amount of, you know, again, speed of which they're pushing through these players' boxes. They're not giving anyone a chance. They get another one now, and look at the momentum starting to surge in their favor. Now Peterbot has some mats to work with. Make it a little bit more as they catch another team on the outskirts.
Peterbot doing Peterbot things here, just taking names and just sending them right back to the lobby. You see them have interest, looking up for a moment, but they decide against it, continuously dropping down below. Higgs stuck by himself, but he's still figuring out a way to make it work. But now he's digging into the HP with the zone overtaking him, forced to fly forward. 2 builds left. Clix, Higgs, they both need a miracle here if they're looking to continue to perform in this game, but he's going from miss to miss, hiding in the shadows until he's finally found out.
Who went?
I'm looking
Anyone
at
went?
this outskirts now. You have
But
Nazi here,
even
depending
finish the
or
game?
deciding if he wants to possibly play for something big. Meanwhile, Golden and Ozone actually make a play for the high ground. It's going off that terrain, so it's actually a really weird one to play with, but they end up timing it just well enough that they secure the high ground. Peterbot gets knocked there in the side, and it's up to Pollo once again. Pollo has just been playing absurdly well today. He has been clutching up. You know, if you counted him out before, usually it's Peterbot we've talked about year in, year out, who puts on these solo performances. But now it's Pollo here today.
No one win, no one win. Okay,
the
just
best that we have ever seen, and it's only a Heats lobby.
Yeah, it's just going absolutely crazy. A teaser of what we could see, because over 200 points, Monster. Even in the highest heat, they surpassed that, and he does it yet again, clearing the bottom half of the lobby. It's almost smooth sailing for Golden and Ozone up above, but now one's going to drop.
Do this
Looking
last one,
to
chat?
play Disruptor, but you have to be careful. We've seen Siphon play a huge role in players losing heal
Siphon,
off
oh
throughout the
my.
weekend. They cannot make that mistake. Bugha and Craze out of builds, but Bugha
Siphon
gets an
is
elimination.
so
Siphon
annoying,
Maps keeping
chat.
him alive. The Siphon as well,
Ooh,
making sure the
I'm gonna
HB
do
stays
this.
relatively healthy for this
Right
next
there.
play. The only solo in the game, and he makes a play onto Ozone and Golden. The full chop
Ouch,
is in, but
ow.
he finally goes down, but he dealt so much
Good.
damage to this
Now
lobby.
is actually time for
That might have been
focus.
what Golden needed right there. A little refresh to go in and keep him in the game. Cole tries to
I'm
go up and
for
make a big
Baba
play, but it's not
Booling.
going to be enough.
Yeah,
He
I'm
gets
for
knocked first.
Baba
Madden doesn't have health. And Ozone and Golden secure the victory royale there, Jacob.
Yeah, it was looking scary for a moment with Bugha going up, cracks the shields, almost drops Ozone down by himself, but he finally gets cleaned up. Golden and Ozone clutch up the game to advance to finals. Zeke, Kelly, Vivid, what do you think of that?
It just gets more chaotic every time, doesn't it, Jacob? Every single time, I feel like, oh, it's gonna be just a nice, chill, calm game. Nope. Every single time. Shout outs to Golden and Ozone there. They had hype, and you know, thanks to Bugha playing spoiler, running around, suddenly the tempo gets shifted, and on the other side, Golden and Ozone, as long as they're like, hey, we got hype, right, Kelly? We
be
got
back.
hype up here, we gonna walk away with a win.
I mean, if you're able to hold down height, especially once you hit zone 11 and no one else is really looking up at you, you're pretty much a shoo-in to either get a top 5, if not the victory royale. And it looked like Ozone and Golden knew exactly what they needed to do in that situation. They saw just how chaotic the mid and low ground was. And so for them, it was all about just playing the high ground as standard as you can, Vivid.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of chops that came in, but they were able to sustain through them, no problem. And Jacob kind of mentioned it, man. I was
Alright,
a
be
little
back.
worried, Bugha running around. It's like, man, if he only had like 10 more builds, how much more damage could he have dealt? But yeah, incredible run there for Golden and Ozone. Another one of those games where, yeah, I did mention that a couple of chops came in this later zone, right? Very, very late into the 11th zone and early in the 12th zone. But prior to that, it looks like they were kind of just chilling, right? Playing that spray roll where you're trying to relieve the lobby of all of the materials so that way you can go ahead and win some of these final engagements. But booking their ticket to finals from the high ground.
That's what I'm telling you. Kelly called it out. High ground. That's what we got to look, pay attention to, chop them out, or maybe we go up there ourselves. I don't know. Now, we do only have 2 games left to go. When we return after this short break, we'll take a look at the standings, set ourselves up for game number 4. So we'll be right back.
I'm back. No, babe. I said hair so big.
Take a look at them standings. Let's kind of see how things are going. If you're tuning in, welcome. We've got 2 more games to go before we wrap things up on the day. We want either a victory royale or to end the day in the top 10 in consistency, which basically is going to be looking at the top 15 on this leaderboard after all is said and done. Right now, though they've not gotten themselves a victory royale, though we've been in a situation where Pollo has been solo 3 games in a row, Kelly, they're still in first place by a lot.
I do want to remind everyone that yesterday during Heat 2, Curve and Venno had the most eliminations out of the North American heats, and that was with 39 eliminations. So to see Peterbot and Pollo 3 out of 5 games played, barely about to hit that as well, shows just how aggressive, how insane insane this duo is. And you called it out, Zeke. Poyo has been a solo for majority of the 3 games, especially in the end games that we have seen.
Yoshi.
So for Poyo,
Mini
you
and
know,
Big
the
Box.
player that PewDieBot quote unquote carries all the time, to be the one carrying it in the heats, I just love to see it, Vivid.
Yeah, I mean, we can pretty much expect this out of the duo. Just the eliminations being racked up right now, and yeah, you know, we're so used to seeing the PewDieBot solo clutches. We're getting the opposite side of the coin today. Poyo is putting on an absolute show. I would not be surprised though if we saw some crazy PewDieBot stuff go down in the next 2 games, and they got to be feeling pretty good already over on socials. I mean, we know what the thresholds have been kind of looking like. Jacob kind of called it out earlier. Thinking heat number 1, we were around like 140. Heat number 2 was a little bit crazy, jumped up a little bit higher than that. But sitting at 214 points, they feel pretty comfortable that they are already qualified, because I see PewDieBot is already talking about where he is going to land in Grands on social media. And I gotta tell you, it's a little spicy because it says wonky in Grands, but that's a whole different story for next weekend. We got a bunch more teams that still have to clinch their ticket to Grand Finals today.
Okay, I like it. More on that next week. Why don't we focus in on Clix and Higgs right now? You know, these guys currently in 3rd place, right, in terms of the consistency situation. And based off of those numbers that you said and Jacob called out, I feel like, you know, just a few more games should put them very comfortably in. But, you know, it's interesting. I feel like we've seen them in these kind of, sometimes they're on height and things are going really well. Sometimes we've got Higgs solo running around, you know. I wonder how much of their dynamic is being, like, influenced by PewDieBot and Poyo. Like, how much do you guys feel like, are they just doing their own thing? Are they kind of like in the back of their minds, like, is PewDieBot Poyo kind of close by? Are they like, is my PewDieBot tingle sensation happening? Like, what's going on? My PewDieBot senses.
Sure. No, it's the PewDieBot tingle sensation. That is what you've coined it as forever, Zeke. For Clix and Higgs, if you look back at how early those clips were, the EVS, they were around zone 9, zone 10, and they had only a handful of builds there. So I think there is definitely some issues going on with their early and mid game. Maybe it's even just the end game rotations where they're having to build a lot. We know that Clix and Higgs love to run the low ground. They love to be at the front of low ground and kind of build out a lot of territory for themselves. So I think just having this lack of materials is kind of affecting them for that ultimate end game like win strategy. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing for them, Vivid.
Well, I mean, fine, Zeke. We'll go ahead and talk about it just a little bit more, okay? Just a little bit. You're kind of talking about, oh, you know, are they thinking about PewDieBot and Poyo? Well, they probably are thinking about PewDieBot and Poyo because they literally stole Clix and Higgs' drop spot in that game, right? PewDieBot and Poyo, they landed wonky and forced Clix and Higgs to kind of swerve off and land elsewhere. So not only are they thinking about them, they're literally being directly affected by them in the early game. But speaking about like the end game, no, I don't really think that they should be thinking about them because we kind of talked about it multiple times today. Clix and Higgs looks like they want to be playing for the high ground, but we haven't even seen PewDieBot and Poyo up on height today at all. They've been going for elimination. So Clix and Higgs should be able to fulfill their game plan if they can get there in a stable enough position.
I don't know why you just invoked that. I don't know why you just invoked PewDieBot going crazy up on the high ground, but you know, I'm down. 2 games left to go. Let's see it. Another player going crazy. It's Bugha. It's crazy. Bugha has now been put in a few solo situations, and in that last game, solo clutches a 3rd place. Yo, I'm loving seeing Bugha back.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at his history right now, 10th, 18th, and 3rd out of 3 games that we have played, that just shows to me that he is making it into the end game, and then he's also making the micro adjustments that we love to see from our top players. Again, in a heat competition, the meta definitely varies from what we're usually seeing in a set lobby. So for Bugha to be able to kind of see that, read that, and then be able to have a strategy on how to utilize that, I love to see that.
I gotta tell you, I was kind of expecting this duo to have a little bit more in the eliminations category. Every time we kind of tune into them, yeah, this kind of seemed like they are falling a little bit short in terms of being able to stay alive healthy as a duo right now. So that does kind of hinder the ability to actually eliminations. But remember, we talked about it. We're supposed to have really good, well-vetted, experienced IGL here kind of leading Craze through the eliminations. I want to see Craze get a little bit more active, right? I want to see him box to box, wall to wall, finding those eliminations.
Okay, well, 2 games left to go. That's what we're hoping to see. That being said, MDF Jacob, over to you.
These are going to be 2, I feel like, of the greatest games we're going to see on the weekend so far. Everybody's still in the hunt to claim one of those consistency spots or one of those last 2 wins.
Yeah, and the only team that's really safe right now is Peterbot and Boya. 214 points. They surely are in. Let's see what happens here. Team number 4 is ready.
Right now, that point threshold is 103 points. Look back, almost drastically different, almost a top 8 placing of different in terms of placings to get in that last spot. But as another team qualifies out, another spot has opened up, and it was an uncontested spot as well. It was the north side of Battlewood Boulevard that Golden and Ozone were landing at. So either Bugha and Craze got a lot of loot to themselves, or they got some newcomers dropping nearby.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking that, you know, because Preston was kind of in the vicinity, I mean, it might just be easier for those other teams there. But again, Bugha and Craze have played relatively well, right? When they make it to that end game, I'm sure that 3rd place finish right there is going to be another surge in confidence for them to go ahead and just stick to the game plan and try to do that again.
This Four Fields fight. This Four Fields fight has more impact than just the 2 actual teams landing there. As we know, Aiden, Waffle Joe, and another team towards the south eventually rotate up, and that's how they get their early game surge. Last game, this fight ended so quick, nobody was able to try to make that play, but Kiffy, Tenya, they're going at it, but Tenya's gonna be the first one going down. Feo with the cross. So even though he landed relatively far away, he's still impacting the fight tenfold.
I was gonna say, and you saw Waffle Joe land a lot closer this time too. Like, they landed at the southern portion. They're probably trying to see if they can actually make a quick move here, but Tenya gets finished off there, just the time. Proxy's gonna try to break out the back. Kiffy, though, just waiting. Nothing, unfortunately, evolves from that. And if they have learned anything, at least from game number 2, was that they gotta finish this fast. So this game's already starting to slip away from them.
It's unfortunate for Proxy down below because that team's up above and on the outside. He has very limited options. He tries to rotate out towards the north. He runs into Aiden and Waffle. A couple of shots are going to land from them. He tries to shockwave again, but that's when the elimination does get cleaned up. So Aiden and Waffle, realizing, hey, this fight might have stalled out this game, quickly rotates on over. Bobby is here, along with his duo, trying to third party as well. And this is what we've seen throughout the day overall on this side of the map. Teams just third partying and crashing to try to get surge or elimination points.
As you see Mar and Bobby, because of those shots flew over Aiden's head, they were like,
back.
oh, wait a second, there's actually a team behind us. So they box up immediately, jumping in with Higgs and Clickstyle, using the fist to actually break into the box there. It's kind of crazy, at least from the outside looking in, but here comes the upgrades. At least gets himself a little shotgun, not the best, but something to work with. Here's a look from Higgs' perspective on how it all went down. He just keyed right in to the action here. Oh, he actually lands it and gets the knock. Wow.
You can see no shotgun in his inventory, so
Crazy.
Great heads up play right out of the gates. And, you know, Vivid kept his ear to the streets. He's the one that said, yo, without even winning a game, 214 points. Peterbot Poyo say, yo, Wonky Land is now ours. And I thought, you know, I was hearing, hey, if you want some, come get some from Clicks and Higgs and Blood X. And Peterbot Poyo, they say, hey, we want some, but there's nothing to get over here because they disengage, they switch drop spots, and already Clicks and Higgs getting aggressive. So they're using this time here with these last 2 games, or even third if you count the last game as well, to try to get as much practice in a finals lobby as possible.
Like what Peterbot and Boyo do, though, right? This is all mind games, really. It's just telling them, hey, even if you get to finals, think about this. You're taking your drop. All right, it's just one extra thing to have to worry about as far as prep goes, even leading into it. Can make all the difference. Bugha Crazy the Battlewood, though. We already knew they had to drop themselves. You can see other teams starting to encroach in on the territory, but again, plenty of space to play with. Even more space now to the north after, of course, Ozone's team wins. Back on over to Aiden and Waffle Joe, though. They end up disengaging, abandoning the fight after finding the proxy elim. and then rotating into the contested side of Moxie's side. Look, there's other players here too.
Yeah, they're lurking on a team that's lurking on Painted Palms. Just gotta hope they don't get spotted out. Vibes. Cynics, they do have the high ground, so as long as they have a 360-degree view and head on their shoulders, that would be all right. As Peterbot Pollo make their way on over towards Squibbly Shores. Probably thinking they were going to find Clix and Higgs, but they already made their way on out. So they're finding a whole nother team. That's Snappy on the other side, but he gets did up like a sit-up, put down, sent back to the lobby. His teammate, though, was able to disengage and get out, and there's a lot of space over on that side of the map because there is split drops where teams have to go ahead and use their routes to get their loot, and Wonky land uncontested.
Yes, 1-for-1 exchange here. Real tries to hit the tag, doesn't quite find it, but into the box. Clean execution from Zero PC Earnings, trying to work his way towards the finals here. They're gonna need a win.
Yeah, it's a situation where you do need a win, like you said, but his fight's just like this. His teammate's down. He's in a 1v1 situation, and he's just full confident. Even without an iron pump or a chaos reloader, full confidence to jump in the box and take the 50-50.
Just sent it. Gotta respect it. Thinking of Aviv, great last game, right? Putting them in the race now. Into the top 10 they go. 110 points earned here. All off the performance of that last round. We're curious to see how Kingling and Aviv perform if they can make it to endgame. They seem to have what it takes, but it's getting there that's been difficult. If they can continue to adjust their mid-game strategies to play stronger and stronger. Seek and Taki are doing the same exact thing. They've also been very much in the conversation on the high ground from time to time, coming super close to pulling out a victory so far here.
They're playing pretty well so far, 122 points so far. You see them, they're 7th so far on the leaderboard, and that's even more higher up because remember, those teams that do got the win, they get the 1,000 points and automatically advance. So they're just one good game away, honestly, maybe even a top 10 away from punching their ticket into the grand finals. Others got much more to go, many more points to go ahead and grab, but honestly, 2 5th places even with a bunch of elims could possibly qualify you, but I'm not sure too many players are going to be up for that challenge. But Bobby does find his first elimination there, and it looks like they're looking to chase down Preston for the second.
Yeah, it seems like they're playing off the momentum right now after finding those other early fights and eliminations. It's looking pretty good. Great side angle there from Mar. End up finishing that one up. T just listening to what's going on here with Turbulence. They're slowly walking up here, trying to see if they can play for a lurk right now. Like the strategy, like the play. Obviously, Bobby and crew they just have their guard down, right? Not sure if I like the 3-2-1 there. It wasn't exactly the opener they were looking for, and now they just give it up, so they're just kind of stuck here at this point.
Yeah, accidentally shooting on 2 different targets. And both of them did get damage. Just on 2 different players, unable to pinpoint the exact target. Possibly could have been a down if they chose wisely, but Turbulence Lucky are going to have to look for some HP. We only saw one of those 2 loadouts, but we saw no bandages, no med kits, or pizza in that inventory. So if they're looking to stay alive, they need to be on the hunt for the bare minimum here. You see the zone this time around in the minimap moving on over towards the north side. Wonky Land even being a primary focus. As you see Jack and Npen. 48 points so far, not where you would expect a team like this to be, especially with, you know, what's going on around Frigid Fortress, uncontested, nobody landing there, then triple contested. Both the zone pulling their way this time. Even without a win, if they somehow land a top 5 with a couple of elims, they'll at least put themselves in contention for a consistency spot in Game 6 or 5.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're 50 points in right now, you definitely have a chance for sure if you pop off. So I started looking over here. I was trying to piece together what all happened.
Any guesses? Full shield Pollo, any guesses?
I don't know. Maybe you try to do some fancy little bounce off here. Unfortunately, missed his drop. Probably landed just like this and then fell off. Let's see.
Okay, we get to see what actually happened. Okay.
Hey, Peterbot, watch this.
Oh.
See, at least they're human. At least they're human, because sometimes I feel like maybe they're just inside of the Matrix or something. They're a part of Fortnite, you know, but at least it goes to show that even they can make mistakes in certain moments. As you look at Seek's loadout here, you got Taki with the Chaos and the Thunderburst, but then you got Seek with just an AR, no shotgun. They're planning on rotating in, grabbing high ground, and hopefully playing for damage in the distance.
Let's continue to look at a couple elims that are happening here. This is another storm fight for Taki and Seek. That's how it ends up playing out. And although we were criticizing the loadout, it looks like it's working because they find elimination. That's probably why he just decided to max out on the extra heals to go the distance and play the dead side. He might be feeling really confident about how much damage they've done.
Is there an Ishu rotating in? This time around, all they have to do is just kind of move north. They get Dark Dominion uncontested. They haven't had to move at all so far during this game. Maxed up on materials, and even have some extra heals down below before they start to make that rotation. And since they have this bird's eye view, they can start to gather that information, figure out how many teams are rotating by them, where those teams are rotating, so that way they can make their rotation accordingly. Because shockwaving off high ground right here, you can cover distance farther, but it comes with its own risk. Uh-oh.
Ah, that's what they were doing. Okay, okay.
He's spelling, is he spelling his name,
Yes.
Pollo?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I was curious. Now it's all
What?
starting to make sense. That's an A. Yeah, at this point, I actually don't know what he's spelling. I'm not sure. I want to know. It's just.
Oh, their initials. Peterbot and Pollo. Their Ferris wheel. That's a lot of confidence, man. 217 points. They already qualled. So the only one using this wonky wheel is going to be Peterbot and Pollo.
It's not in the last game. They're already loosening up here. Just making a statement. Again, mind games, like we talked about. It's all mind games at this point.
That's true. I always talk about how important it is having a strong mental game in these tournaments. Because whether if it's 5 games or 6 or even 12 in the grand finals, you got to know that nothing is going to go perfect. There's going to be speed bumps along the road in your journey, so you got to be able to bounce back from that. And mental composure is just as big as anything else. You don't want to have to shut down midway through the tournament. So going to be looking at that to see how teams perform at the start of some days and how they finished at the end of others. As Chimp and Liam, they're one of the teams that I always talk about. You know, we talk about the Ferris wheel, we talk about the rifts, Latte Landing. I mentioned it, I believe, yesterday. I mentioned it again. It has one launch pad back here that they're using, and it's different than the majority of every other launch pad on the map because it takes you higher and it takes you further as a standard launch pad itself. Now, Monster, combine that with a Shockwave, combine that with a Flowberry Fizz, and that's what allowing Liam and Chimp here to rotate all the way in towards the zone. And we got a mountain one this time around. It strayed away from it in that last game. So for Liam, they're going to get priority position in this zone.
Yeah, it's coming all back to this north side. These mountainous terrains definitely get difficult. The 50-50's already playing this up, so whoever's here early surely is going to have the advantage. Paper and Resi playing a little bit more of a defensive, kind of low position here. Not trying to risk too much on the high ground. They don't want to attract too much attention, but it seems like they do have to fish for some damage here. And it's inevitable. There's going to be plenty more teams starting to come this way.
Paper and Resi,
Oh,
Paper's
no.
one of those players back to back with Victor V, and then
My
with
name.
Epic Well and Victor V. 2 different globals he was able to attend. See if he can make it a third by qualifying for final, then the Summit Land, and eventually globals from there. Peterbot and Pollo looking to put pressure on Chance and Tyler. They're already 400 above, and that one definitely turned sideways. Peterbot takes a huge punch to the face, but Chance and Tyler both go down. It's Pollo again. I'm not sure we've ever really given MVPs for a day. I know we didn't yesterday or before, but Pollo has to be the MVP of the day.
He is. I'm telling you, we're watching him play at the best he really has. Like, truly, he's showcasing why he is who he is, you know, and why the region continues to give him his flowers, you know. It's not a game, you know. I know they're in here messing around, building and all that, having fun, but they're just showing you sometimes it really does look like they're miles ahead of the competition.
See Boo and Craze right there on the line when it comes to zone, trying to put pressure onto Oliver and Carillion up above. They don't have far to rotate, but that high ground is a team that you aren't going to have to worry about. But they look down. They see Peterbot and Pollo again. Much pressure coming out from this side of the map. The other teams rotated here, Mike and Logan trying to use the Fizz Shockwave to cover distance. Luckily for them, Oliver and Carillion were busy. They were distracted, so they weren't able to get any damage on them rotating through the sky.
And I'm just looking at the situation at hand here. They are going to have to move here. See how it ends up kind of playing out for them here. Enpen actually gets, yeah, credit possibly for an elimination there too while this is all happening. Oliver Ojito trying to open up some sight lines, but nothing just yet. Take a look at the wider image. You see Moxie still alive here in this end game. Noah Plays here to the left. Paper's team still in the running right now. Again, these are the big performances you will have to pull out if you want to get back into the race here for consistency. So Rezi and Paper do have a chance. You know what's really cool about this endgame too, though, Jacob, is that if you play it right, the terrain is so crazy, you can actually win even if you don't, you know, haven't been playing very well today. Like, this can really go any way, and sometimes RNG like this can be very favorable for you.
Yeah, I know Kelly, Vivid, Zeke, they were talking about it a little bit, about teams not necessarily looking up towards high ground in the fashion that I feel like all of us can agree we thought would happen. And so exactly what you're saying, this could be one of those zones to where a team near the bottom of the leaderboard, halfway up the leaderboard, can surprise, get high ground, and clutch out and steal a win away. But still, there's so much action going down when we get to the side of these mountains. King and Aviv continuing to find their groove. King with 5 eliminations so far in this game. And King, rightfully so, is getting his moments in the spotlight. He just needs to cap it off with a spot in finals.
It's kind of crazy to see Peterbot and Pollo have tanked so much Storm, and they have the pizza, but they've gone through it all. And it did not pay off. Unfortunately, they couldn't get that follow-up refresh or elimination, but they still have a miss to play with here. Still being a little hesitant and, of course, relying on the Siphon instead here. Peterbot's going to be able to at least heal up off of that. He wants to push for the finish here. It's going to be on to Moxie.
Doesn't matter who it is that's in his path. He wants to get that elimination. Like you said, Moxie goes down. Wolf is going to be stuck by himself. They're just thunder bursting into the box, giving him really no time to react as a solo. Just infinite spray going in. You see it's going a little bit off of this mountain, away from it.
I think what's happening right now. What on my iPad? I'll save the word would get insane. What you know?
Even terrain, I wouldn't say it's flat by any means. You see different mountains and different ranges there in the distance, but it's not as drastic as it was in the north side of that last zone.
I just realized too, Peterbot's playing with the click skin, you know, just really putting the salt on the dish here. Bugha in his icon fit, looking pretty solid. We've seen him compete in this one plenty of times, but get back to it. So Peterbot, Pollo, after the refresh now, have some high ground positioning. Peterbot or Paper and Rezi here go from the mid layer of that mountain down to the low ground, almost forced here. 33 below now, so couldn't quite capitalize on the chaos of the teams rotating from the outskirts. They didn't do enough damage. They've done enough to kind of be there, but now they're forced to fight here in the ultimate low. And this just opens up everything for Peterbot and Pollo. You know, we were talking about this gift that the elevation of the Storm can play for you, right? The chaos. However, the experienced teams are also going to get gifted here because they'll play it best.
Yeah, they've already reconnected on multiple different surfaces, but can't expend too many.
After
Or a top 5, but they still have a chance to not have to go into Game 6 needing a win. Oliver and Carillion are one of those teams, but they haven't picked up elimination. That's where they have to start to pick up the pace. It's not just placing high in these games alone. They need to combine it with those eliminations, which is 3 points per. But they get to the front side zone. They realize opportunities will naturally come as the game progresses. But Bugha and Craze, they're quickly running out of mats. So they're now trying to be proactive and pick up an elimination. Good amount of damage as teams rotating by, but nothing to get the actual Elim, to get them the mats. But while all that's going down, Peterbot and Poyo have finally been contested and taken out.
You know, I was curious. I was just about to say that Peterbot and Poyo might actually.
And then just close Twitch. And open up.
They're in the driver's seat right now on the high ground. Nobody's really having a chance to look up. You see Aviv and King, one of those teams that might, but they're just going through so much chaos down low on the low ground. Going for more Elims here, picking up the Siphon mats. Aviv realizing, hey, I'm running out. The bare minimum is all I really have left. Noah Plays has some, but he does not have his teammate. Carbone is going to go down, leaving Noah Plays no choice to start his heal off early and hope to get a couple more placement points.
Plays playing for that heal off. Top 10 now, so it is working. The placement points are starting to come through. With Flex and Light, Flex barely holding on there. Oliver OG's in this end game as well. He's managed to go the distance with Carillion here, and they're at 80 points now, Jacob. Okay, so things are starting to get closer and closer now. The teams that needed to jump up and get into the top 8 are starting to do it. The teams that needed to break away and give themselves the cushion, the distance to be there are doing it as well. Aviv and King are 2 of those teams. Penta's team's another one. And Noah Plays is actually turning online here too as he finds his first Elim in this end game.
Yeah, sometimes the first one's the hardest, but it's the most rewarding. The Siphon keeping him alive wasn't really able to pick up all the materials, so he's only down to 7. Somebody else watching him on the other side. King in a similar solo situation, but he's fresh out of build. No choice but to look back, and he gets at least one. The mats is what's most important because he's able to push himself going forward. 2 duos left in this game. 2 solos left in this game, and one of the duos is Oliver OG here, making a chop and a play for the high ground. He reconnects and solidifies it, but he lost Carillion along the way.
With 1 mat as well. Talk about having heart, talk about having confidence, but look at King. King's at 11 eliminations. He has been playing so well right now, but Oliver had too much time to heal. He's 200 HP. No mats though, and that's the difference for a pro here. Anything can go down in this toe-to-toe.
You know, the way King has been playing, this is going to be a hard one to beat already with 11 eliminations. Oliver just trying to go ahead and create distance. He has a little bit of HP left. He's hoping and praying the Chug Jug is going to be enough, but Kingaling has so much time left on the zone. That was a mistake by Oliver OG. That King is going to capitalize on him, smiling ear to ear because he had just punched his ticket to the FNCS Grand Finals.
He did it in great fashion as well. 12 eliminations alongside Aviv. Lost Aviv in the top 10 and still managed to play that so well. I know Oliver's thinking to himself, why did I go back so soon? He would have been better, of course, taking the full-on fight. Well, in the end, Game 4 is now wrapped, Zeke.
Yo, I mean, you know what? We called them the big cheese of even at the start of this show, and you know, these guys are losing their minds. A solo clutch, 12 elims from Kingling? What the heck is happening, Kelly?
Bro, this is actually
Absolutely
crazy.
insane. We talked about it at the start of the show, these kind of veteran players finding these young bloods, these, you know, fragging prowesses, and Kingaling and Aviv picked the perfect duo mate in him. Honestly, there was a moment there where Oliver OG went for high ground, lost Carillion, and that was just the opportunity for Kingaling. He sees someone that was sticking to the low ground, go for high ground. He probably realizes that they don't have that many mats, and this is his opportunity to go on the aggressive.
Yeah, Kingaling known for being that creative word, being very, very mechanical. So, like Kelly was mentioning, as soon as that 1v1 came around and I saw that Kingaling still had a couple of builds to work with, I didn't want to count Oliver out, but I was like, man, I feel like this one's going to be a little one-sided. And sure enough, it was. Kingaling just, you know, placing all of the builds, making sure all of the control was his, and ends up cleaning it up very, very nicely. A 12 elimination game from King as an individual. This is not a team total. This is an individual count. I can almost guarantee you we're gonna see some of these highlights from this game in a video somewhere.
I know that we were looking at Veno's eliminations for how, like, the most eliminations we had from a single player, but as far as a single player in a single game goes, King
Yeah.
Ling might take the cake for NAC.
Oh my gosh, man. You know, that's the trick, right, Kelly? Is you just change whatever your name is, just change it to King, and you'll just become royalty. You know, that's what I'm taking away from this. So you guys can now call me Zeke King. That's right. That's right. With that being said, though, we are going to go to a short break. When we come back, game number 5. One last opportunity to get a victory royale or to end the day in the top 10. Don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss this final game.
Watch me arrive. Watch me arrive. Watch me arrive.
Math. Wingo, wingo. Um, I'm bored. This is FTR sick forever. Don't know.
Stress. It's what I feel right now, getting ready for the last game out of heat number 3. We need a victory royale or to end in the top 10 if we want to keep the FNCS dream alive, which means not taking it to the LCQ. We don't want to go there. Very difficult there. We need to qualify right here, right now. Let's take a look at the standings, okay? With only a single game left to go, we got to start kind of setting the stage of what could happen, who's on the edge of qualing. Like, there's so much to talk about. Obviously, Peterbot and Poyo. We'll start at the top real fast. This last game, you know, Kelly, Vivid, I think this is the first time officially we've ever seen a duo claim a drop spot live on broadcast.
Yeah, that is quite
Yo,
possible with
what?
Poyo and Peterbot changing up their drop spots in the middle of heats. I don't know if anyone could have expected it, but also Heat 3 has been
These
a little bit of
four
an
viewers in the
unexpected
live-
ride. So Poyo and Peterbot kind of just playing things as they see them. But as far as grand finals go, you
Yeah,
know, they're
she
currently
likes,
in
and
their
then
first
like-
place spot for consistency, but with 243 points, Vivid, I just don't know if it's enough.
I mean, yeah. Who knows, right? Nah, they're definitely chilling. 37 eliminations on the day as well. Watching some of that back, by the way, I couldn't believe I was kind of watching it, right? Kelly called me off guard, throwing it to me right there. So I was watching, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, how did Peter Brown play go down? And it happened fast, man. The higher ground take from Power and Penta there that game was honestly incredible stuff from them, and no surprise to see how good they are to be able to take down Peterbot and Pollo to find them in that second place spot on the consistency leaderboard as well. So, you know, great stuff from them to go ahead and take that game.
I love it. I love it. Let's take a look at page 2. Okay, let's flip on over. So top 15, basically after this last game is where we need to be if we want to be in that top 10 of consistency. Right now, Dolzer, Ishu, right there on the very bleeding edge of qualing, right? We talked about them at the start of this show, but you know, Kelly, they're only 5 points ahead. That's really not enough.
Check the front end
And
just
with
fine.
that second place out of Oliver OG, they also jump up 10 places. Like,
10
Kelly, this is gonna
placements.
come down to the wire.
I mean, obviously, a lot of us looking towards Oliver OG, one of the OGs for Fortnite, but also looking at a lot of our other names there. There's still people jumping up so many placements in our leaderboard. This is definitely still not it. And when it comes down to heats, you could literally be in last place, but if you are able to walk away with the victory royale, that is all you need. And it is possibly Oliver OG's story that he is going to be wrapping up from game number 5. They had such a good game number 4, playing that high ground really well, but when you run out of mats, when you don't have much else going for you, honestly, there's only so much you can do besides run away, try and go for the heal off, and then realize, oh wait, I don't have what I need for the heal off, let me go back.
I gotta tell you, I don't want to speak this into fruition, but man, it's gonna hurt if Oliver OG and Brilliant do not qualify, and that's how close they were, right? Came down to a 1v1, because right now they are sitting outside of that threshold, 16th place right now, 106 points. To kind of speak on the history of how the heats have gone this weekend, in heat number 1, we were sitting at 145 points to qualify to grands through consistency, and then in heat number 2 it was 174. I don't think we're gonna get up to the 170s today, but it does look like I wouldn't be surprised if it was around that 145 mark again, which if you take a look at some of our teams, right, we've got Bugha up there in 12th place, is pretty close to 145, and who knows if it's exactly going to be that, but still a little bit below that. Man, I still am kind of waiting for that pop-off game from this duo. I did request, I was like, hey, you know, I want Craze to get a little bit more into the action. Again, this game right here, they ended this one with just 2 eliminations. I'm still looking for that big pop-off game. They've got one more opportunity to do it. Hopefully they at least get into the end game, because a solid game getting there would probably qualify them.
I mean, obviously, there's only so much that we can watch in the early games right here, but you do have to wonder if just these early games aren't working out for Bugha and Craze. To go to Zone 8 with just 10 builds is definitely not the position you want to be in. I'm wondering if it's just bad rotations or whatever, but regardless, yes, they're close to that precipice of not qualifying, but it's Bugha and Craze. If anyone's going to be able to lock in the final game, Zeke, it's got to be Bugha.
That's right. This is it. The final game out of Heat 3. If you're a duo and you're not inside that top 10, don't give up. Fight till the very end. This could still go any which way. Fortnite fam, for the last time today, lock in. This game number 5 starts now.
He said it himself. Game number 5 is here, and the most important game of the day. 4 teams already snatched their ticket to the finals by winning these games, and right now is the last chance. Everybody is on equal footing here.
Yeah, you know, it's been quite the crazy tournament day, if we do say so ourselves. First off, it started with jamming all this competition into the week, and now here we're at the final stretch to pick our last teams, Jacob, that are going to qualify.
Yeah, and it's going to be close. It was like 10 points in yesterday's heat separating who went to the grand finals and who has to try again in the LCQ. Heat 1 was a little bit closer, and I'm just kind of hoping this one goes down to the wire. We've seen teams inside of the bubble and outside of the bubble lay it all on the line to get to the grand finals. It's the final countdown, last game of the day. Monster, let's jump right into it.
Okay.
Heat 3, Game 5, the last of the evening is now before us. Obviously, we've seen so much develop, especially in the last 5 rounds of Fortnite. However, this game's going to be the most important.
Yeah.
We saw that just in 2 games, you had been basically able to put yourself in the running, right? Setting yourself up here for the Game 5 finale stretch. Oliver OG, though, is one of those teams, Jacob, right? We want to see him do well, and they're just right there.
Yeah, so close by. And again, Clix and Higgs. And this is something Zeke said himself, for one of the first times ever we've seen a team not only switch drop spots, but claim a brand new drop spot and literally write their name on it. Clix and Higgs went from Wonky Land to Squibbly Shores to basically a split drop in the middle of nowhere. They're inside of the bubble as of now, Monster, but it's so close. Almost Fields attention. Tenya, Proxy, or Fields. The battle that's been going down all day long. Proxy and Tenya are going to get that early lead, and with this being their last chance to win the game, it's all on Kiffy's shoulders for him and his duo to have any bit of a chance.
This is crazy close, but I'm thinking about, I just want to bring that conversation back to Clix and Higgs for a second. They are, playing well outside their comfort zone right now, really having to mix it up, and just shows you how much pressure they have on their shoulders to just secure a couple more points, right? To make sure they actually get their grand final spot, because it's not free. It's not free for anyone just yet. That's how close it is on the standings here. Even for Bugha, you're still having to perform here. Just a couple more points, but again, we've seen how difficult these mid games can be.
Especially with how many lurks just like this that we're seeing all over the map, just trying to sneak up on players just like that. Turbulence did not see it coming. Zusto slams him right back to the lobby. Luckily for them, though, his duo was a little bit separated from where he's actually at. You see him in the mini-map there. Even though he is close by, they don't know where he's actually at. So it does look like Lucky T down below has no choice but to sit and wait, and hopefully that team rotates out instead of camping the card.
Yeah, look at this, though. Most important fight for Oliver OG right now. And, of course, the team that's been contesting them here at the north side. They've managed to win it consistently time and time again, but it just makes you wonder, is it finally the opponent's time? First shot's going to go to the losing side for Oliver OG. Carillion, though, just there to back him up and go ahead and take up Trades. Oliver heals, but no, he gets it out from below. So this is really bad for Carillion. Forced to concede the box there, and now he's starting to run out of mats.
And it's happening so early on in this game. They don't really have a ton of resources. Not only you talking about mats, but heals as well. But Oliver G is still approaching the fight with aggression. Tries to go ahead and get it down. Missed a couple of shots. That one was definitely scary. Missed that one on trying to get the actual elimination for the Siphon. Luckily for him, Carillion scoops up that second elimination, giving them a chance. They performed so well in that last game. They don't even necessarily need the win here. They just need enough points.
Yeah, that was crazy. 2 elims right there, but the 50-50 from Oliver's side. Not sure how I feel about that one. Take a look at Tyler's 2-piece pickup right here. He drop kicks Max in the box, then finds Preston with no HP on the other side here. Let's go and finishes that one up. And just like that, they are in the race to the finish line. 87 points earned. Big damage as well to survive what could be the first Sword warning in a couple moments. For Bobby, for Mar, we've seen some early game success out of this team, but nothing after that. So Penta Power is a team that has nothing to lose. They've done it all. They've done what they need to. That last game was honestly the best they could have asked for.
And I can honestly respect for Bobby and his duo just trying to contest a better drop, because they're actually marked in the beginning of this tournament that we're landing south of Sandy Strip, but that was also contested. So if you're going to fight for a drop, I always think might as well get something for it, but just interesting decision to choose the drop to go against Power and Penta, who will all but have their spot secured here in the FNCS Grand Finals, almost playing with nothing to lose. So it's a different type of pressure versus Bobby and his duo are facing right now. You can see they're not necessarily going straight in for the 50-50. They realize if they're going to have any shot at winning the game, it's not going to be off the back of taking down Power and Penta. It's going to be off consistent, good plays throughout the course of the game.
What do things happen here? Peter Bob Boya with some early rotates, looking like they're trying to hunt for someone right now.
Like he went towards Scribbly, hoping to find Clix and Higgs yet again. Runs into Noxy and Mason. It's really just unfortunate for Noxie and Mason here. They weren't even the intended targets, but they get taken down, separated from one another. Mason's gonna have to sit back, watch Noxie, and hopefully he survives this. But you gotta be careful because MikeBot by himself hiding inside his Squibbly Shores, and all he needs is one good pump. But
No.
no!
Last storm.
The
I was
same
afraid.
Oh
feeling.
no.
I was afraid, Jacob, this was gonna happen. Madden and Cole rotate in. You know, it's just a matter of time before those other teams start to do something different, and they know you're contested, right? So you almost can't do the same thing you've done game after game. You have to mix it up. That's why like Clix and Higgs were smart enough to know, like, all right, yeah, we have some pressure on our back. Let's do something a little different. And unfortunately, Oliver OG just, it's almost like he played into the book, you know?
Oh, they heard the
Oh
deep
no.
move. Mike was waiting there for so long. Hopefully the push went on to someone else, but they disengaged off one fight. Fights for the other. Mike, just like Logan, is hitting haymakers, making Poyo almost second guess that decision. But you know, they love aggression. They love to fight. And so they're going to continue the persistent pressure onto Mike. They got to be careful for any third parties venturing in their way. But for now, it does look clear as day. Mike continues to try to back up, runs into Poyo a second time, but
Hits
does
him
not
too.
find the same luck.
He hits him hard though. He almost finished him, but Peterbot wasn't there to back him up. That was kind of crazy. So Poyo forced there to really dig into his heels now twice back to back. Meanwhile, Clix and Higgs went from the split drop into the Dark Dominion to go ahead and max out their metal materials. I like this. Definitely like this strategy a lot here. Dark Dominion is one of the, you know, very interesting drops that kind of allows you to just do something super off the wall like that, but still know like, hey, it's all good. Like we can get that max material.
You know, a lot of teams that do like to rotate towards Dark Dominion, but Liam and Chimp clean up another elimination. They're on the heels of Clix and Higgs as well in terms of points. Both of them inside of the bubble. Peterbot and Poyo journey continues, but Poyo goes down yet again. This is time for Peterbot to save the day, return the favor for some of the earlier games and performances that Poyo was having. They're already at 6 eliminations here. This is
From here-
absolute craziness.
From here on out, any team Peterbot and Poyo pushes, I need to watch the opposite perspective. I need to know
played
what
in
it
the
means for the
ball, too.
team on the other side because they are playing with a mission right now, and they have eliminated 3 teams so far. And quite frankly, I can't even tell you if any of those teams were about to qual, but it's over now because Peterbot and Poyo are hunting this last game.
Yeah, just literally ending and crushing dreams as it
What?
goes on.
Our first game in the cup, we died on
Jack and
spawn.
Pen as well, though. They got a much harder journey,
Like,
you know, but 95 points. I want to say Vivid
Seems
mentioned
so
about
losing
145, between
pretty
170, but it
much
might be
failed
on the lower
the whole
end.
cup.
About 50 points, so I'm just theory crafting math. So they need close to a win, but depending on how other teams perform, they might be able to get in with the second place. Uh-oh.
Oh no, they're getting closer and closer. Higgs clicks on the move here. Even they know they probably shouldn't stay still for too long. Clicks goes into the bush. Peterbot checks the bush blindly. Clicks in a panic, puts the build down. Peterbot just had a feeling, and I think now he knows here what is about to play out. Obviously, you know you get that information from the client, so surely he knows what the pits are looking like. So here we have it. We're gonna get a nice little clash here. Clicks has to win this fight. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, and I see him immediately turn around, trying to put the pressure back onto Peterbot because he had a good advantage over Higgs at the moment. But now they're both just beaming up, and the third parties are now affecting this fight as well. So it's not going to be a clean 2v2. I think anybody would be crazy to think that would be the case, but Peterbot's persistence here. He knows Clix is in danger of not getting in through heats here today and forcing him to try to go through the LCQ. He's not only taking his drop, he's taking his confidence away by continuously putting down that pressure. Higgs, only a sliver of shield missing. It's Clix that needs most of that pressure being put off of him, but he's gonna be the one that does go down.
Ooh.
But Higgs does a good job of trading it away. 1v1, but Higgs goes down. Poyo wins the fight. Clix and Higgs have just been eliminated in game 5.
And we knew it, man. Poyo is just playing so well today. Higgs, unfortunately, did very good. Beats Peterbot in the exchange, and then that just happens in the end. Here comes Percento. Company, he sees what happens. He's trying to get a piece of the action here. Might as well put your name in the lights, camera, and the action here. But Peterbot and Poyo, they have done what they came here to do.
And for Clicks and Higgs, they're going to be looking at the 149 points, hoping it holds. But Peterbot goes down yet again.
Oh my God.
Oyo stuck in a solo clutch situation against Percent and Tragic. 70 points. Almost needing a win here in order to get in the FNCS Grand Finals. The last spot claimed through a victory royale. And that's going to be a huge confidence boost taking down Peterbot just like that. But it doesn't look like it's over just yet. Poyo still going on the offensive. You can see he has over the amount of gold needed to purchase the reboot back, but it might be he wants to go for the actual card. So that way he has enough gold to visit the vending machine.
Definitely has some time to work with here. Meanwhile, Power, Penta, they've been fired up for good reason. They find Bobby here, who's just outside the palms. That team gets fully wiped up right there. So 149 points ends up being how far Clicks and Higgs have made it. The real question is it going to be enough to hold up? You saw the teams, about 3 teams in the 111 point range mark. It will require all 3 of those guys to basically make an end game if they really want to get pushed out easily. But more importantly, the best thing that can happen, I guess, is someone up at the top takes a win.
Yeah, and already we're seeing teams like, Power and Penta get eliminations. We saw Cole and Madden get eliminations. Even Peterbot and Poyo, we saw those eliminations. And that is essentially stealing points away from everybody else at the bottom side of the leaderboard. So in essence, it might make the gap smaller than some might think, but it's still anybody's game as Poyo returns back on over towards Squibbly Shores. He knows there's not going to be too much contention here. They already cleaned it out most of the way. So he's going to get Peterbot back on into the game. They already have 8 eliminations, 2 more than the last time we saw him. And so I don't think they're done just yet here.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I was like, well, they already cleared that entire area. Like, there's plenty for them to come back and work with here. Boyo, of course, recognizing that. Up and back with Tyler. Chance, these are teams that, again, are in contention for that top spot. Any one of these guys can obviously continue to pop off. But again, if you're Clicks and Higgs, you are really just shaking your head right now and hoping that someone above you is going to take a win, secure a spot out, and help move that standing on up, and not the reverse, right? Pushing you down would be a problem.
Similar zone as last game, though. Not exact, but we're just south of Wonky Land this time around. It's going to make for some interesting strategies. If you stay near these tall trees, you can connect to them, and it has a lot of HP to knock them down. And even after you knock them down, you still have to break the build. So hopefully teams begin to think in and outside of that box when it comes to this end game, because there's a lot of opportunity to really take charge of your own destiny, including Must and Liquid here. We saw them on the high ground in a couple of these games. We saw them have big moments here, but on 117 points, there's no bigger moment for them than this game here.
It's insane. Look at this. Using those shocks to get up in those trees that we know you can actually build on makes for like a very interesting visual here. Liquid and Must, though, they've been here the whole time. No need to move so far, right? So we're just kind of big chilling here. Think about this, Jacob.
I mean, not too bad for the Lumen Chimp, though. They still have the wheel that they want to use, and because the zone's not too far away from where actual Wonky Land is, as long as he has the HP, which he does have 6 splashes and some Slapperoni Pizza, he just needs to get towards a reboot. Wait for a lot of these teams to move on out. But you got to be careful because 2-tick going into 5-tick. So Chimp really has some decisions to make. And right now it does look like he's saying, hey, I might have to make this one happen as a solo. And on 148 points, that's one daring decision to make.
Definitely, and he's pushing across. Really putting it all on the line right now. 148 is very, very close here to, of course, even pushing out someone like Clicks and Higgs, who are at 149, right? That is very, very important of a threshold, a point threshold that the teams below Clicks and Higgs, if they break, all of a sudden will make it even closer for them. So, I mean, Jake, I'm going to ask you here and now, do you think Clicks and Higgs are going to the LCQ?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think 149 is going to be it. But it's a guess. Everybody out
It's
there, I'm not
close.
saying 149
Yeah, no,
is
it's
going to be
true.
it. It's a guess. I want to believe, man. I'm a huge fan of
Close.
Higgs. I'm a huge fan of Clicks as well. Would like to see them be successful and maybe get their revenge in Grand Finals, because that is just storylines for the
Grand
ages already brewing.
Finals.
But Bugha and Craze would be the next team on their heels in terms of the leaderboard. About 12 or so points down. That could be one of the teams that pass him, but it wouldn't push them out of qualification yet. As Bugha Craze, they are already inside of that bubble. Peterbot and
Yo,
Poyo fresh
what?
off of that reboot. Luckily for the Zen, the zone moved in this direction, so they have to make a short walk before they find themselves in zone.
The irony, if they end up being the reason that Clix and Higgs also get through because they key everybody that's in contention. We'll end up finding out here now, Jacob. They're continuing to push, and they're here. Very nicely done. Chaotic folds over so fast. And they're going to get the finish, the refresh here. Lobby starts to look inwards, though. Poyo takes a lot of damage there, but again, it's just a matter of time. There it is. Peterbot secures the loot, reinforces the base up, finds the pizzas here. And just like that, they're not only in the zone, but they are better off than what they were when they rotated in.
Yeah, and there was a little bit more strategy behind trying to get that elimination. That wasn't them just keying, even though, yes, it probably is, because you're seeing he's doing it again, but it's more so they needed the materials. Fresh off the reboot, about 400 mats instead of stacked, but he's going for another one. Peterbot, if he sees somebody, he's going, but right now, taken down yet again. Really being put on the shoulders of Poyo here to try to save the day once more, but Poyo doesn't actually get the box up onto Peterbot, so he's not going to get the revive. Percent and Tragic have just taken down Pete and left Poyo once again as a solo, but honestly, I'm feeling like the way I felt about Peter years ago. There's almost no worries the way Poyo's been performing.
Yeah, I'm curious now if he's thinking about whether or not they want to keep pushing other teams here, but Poyo's had so much attention on him today. I think that one was intentional. Like, yeah, you know what, Peterbot, I'm done saving you, bruh. you go in and get sacrificed right there. That's what it seemed like. He could have saved them. He could have put the edit. Peterbot could have rolled into the box.
I'm not sure what that was.
Yeah, he's done. No, he's done. You can just tell, right? Like, compared to any of the other solo clutches he's put up today, I think at that point they recognize, like, all right, let's go ahead and gift you a little bit of loot. All right, we're gonna give these guys some loot. Let's go ahead and clean this up.
Take a little break. That way they can kick back, relax, you know,
Yeah.
pop open a slurp juice and just enjoy the rest of the tournament. Seeing who their competition might be, if anybody's brave enough to contest either Squibbly or Wonky. Choices there, but Craze is down right now and cleaned up. Bugha left by himself, 139 points. Another team goes down, so he's able to get a couple more placement points, jumping to 146. Still inside of that bubble, but it's only top 23. Barely any placement points has graced the lobby, but with each and every team that does fall, they're going to continue to cascade, but Bugha's feeling the pressure, being forced further and further outside of the zone, and for now, that zone is going to hit, and luckily for him, he does have the slap pizza, he does have some splashes, but with only one shockwave left, he has to decide wisely when and where he's going to use it.
Bugha's got one job, and that's stay alive longer than one more team in order to push Clix and Higgs down another position on the consistency board. Meanwhile, Dozier and Eshu are getting closer and closer to making leaps, bounce, and jumps up into the qualification range, because they're at 124 right now.
It is so close. I feel like they can almost taste it. You see a sky view of where everybody's stacked up. Percent is willing to take a little bit of extra space there on the high ground. They're the ones that have it for now. Power by himself, 223 points, almost nothing to lose, just trying to crush dreams. Tenya is going to be that player that is in his line of sight, trying to break into the box. No Thunderburst to bleed shots through, but he's staying persistent and trying to get the elimination. Full control is his. Just waiting for the chaos to reload, and he quickly peeks, gets the elim, waits to take a tick of damage, so that way when he gets the elimination, the Siphon actually goes to work.
Yeah, very nicely done there as well. And then, of course, gets the refresh. That's 10 eliminations for them now. Meanwhile, look at this. Enpen and Jack coming back from the grave here. 111 points. The end game is theirs, and they're starting to really earn points. Meanwhile, high ground. These are teams willing to throw it all on the table as they have the last chance to go ahead and pull a victory here.
Yeah, Cole Madden, maybe, you know, playing 4 games out, that's good practice. 5th game, might try to get a win here. And so far, it's working out well. Big elimination on the Percent. Cole coming in from the backside of the zone, but he used the shockwave. The Fizz goes too high, too far. Almost gets taken down, but he has a slice in the air, barely holding on. Bugha as well, a much more drastic situation. 1 build left. He has 160 points, so he's starting to build himself a little bit of a cushion here, just in case he does go down, but he lands another big shot onto Proxy across, trying to break into the box, but eventually he's going to have to abandon the play and keep moving forward. Flank comes in, Bugha still on the run.
Yeah, this is good though. Bugha's done it. He's done enough. He's 162 right now. He's been clutching up since about 139 points coming into this. 162 surely should be enough now. And look at this. Cole and Madden still in the game right here. That pizza eating in the sky play right there manages to keep them alive. And the more points that they earn, the more they're going to just, again, absorb into the top of the leaderboards right now.
What?
For NPen, for Jack, their
Those
dream is cut
NPen
short.
got
For
killed
Matrix
like
and
that.
Rezi, this is
Killed
looking
by
all the
two
more close
shots.
for them right now. It's not looking good here. Paper. They have 8 Elons, but they're so in, Jacob.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see a big performance from Rezi all the time. I'm hearing Rezi's next up. Gotta keep an eye on him. This is his chance to really prove it. He's going through so much trying to get out alive. He makes it to the front side of the zone where he has some extra heals, but it's the material that he doesn't have a ton of. And he even tries to farm the tree, but that one gets stolen away. High ground, Cole and Madden just causing destruction down below. That Slam, that Zypta just trying to survive the onslaught of pressure that they're feeling from up above. But now Dozier and Ishu get taken down. 151 points as Rezi's on their heels.
Now look at this, 151 jumps over, 150 now for Rezi, jumps over the bar as well. These are new teams entering into the qualification range now. Aiden and Waffle Joe still have a chance to do it. They can get a couple elims, they can points. They might just go through on qualification points alone.
Big right now for Rezi. He's really putting Paper on his back right now, and you can see why Paper put the trust in him to be his duo. But he gets flanked, but he fires a massive shot. Carlitos feels the pain here, and now Yuki's by himself. Rezi's not ready to give up just yet. No builds, needs the siphon, needs the materials, but his superstar show comes to an end. Yuki's now by himself, trying to shockwave up, goes up against Cole and Madden, Zypta and Slam. He's the only solo in this world full of duos.
This is actually perfect for Zypta and Slam right now. The fact that Cole and, you know, his teammate on the high ground are actually so low on HP. Look at this. Madden, they barely have anything to work with, just a couple mats, but Cole's got nothing here. This can come down to the Disruptor. The low ground team starts to look up, and then the shots go back and forth. It is not looking good at all here, Jacob.
Yeah, Slam and Zypta, they need this win in order to qualify. We saw the point gap get spread so far here, but he gets a big elim on the one. Back-to-back shots by Slam and Zypta. 12 eliminations and a spot in Grand Finals. Game 6 for them. Couldn't have gone any better.
And that's the worst case scenario for a team that didn't have enough points to take the win. It's great for them, bad for everyone else. Zypta and Slam, congratulations. You have done it. And Zeke, that's going to wrap up game number 5.
Oh man! First off, Jacob, MDF, fantastic cast again. Thank you guys so much for that. MDF called it out. The fact that this team wasn't in the top
happened?
10 and got a VR, great for them. Shout out to y'all. We'll see you guys next week in finals. Really bad for the lobby. We'll get to that in just a moment because I do want to give these guys their flowers. You know, finding yourself in a situation, and this is why I said right before going into this game, don't give up, right? It could come down to this final game. Fortnite does this all the time. Think about grand finals, games 12, right? Things like this, you wait out until those final moments, and now Zypta and Slam will be going to finals because they continue to believe, they continue to push, and got themselves that Victor Royale, Kelly.
I mean, so Zift and Slam, who we actually have known as Backtalk in previous competitions, I've seen them play in heats. I've seen them play in the open qualifiers, but Vivid loves to bring it up. I'm going to be stealing this spotlight from him. They have yet to compete in a grand finals together. So to see them be able to get the final game of the final heat and claim that Victor Royale, that is what it is all about, Vivid.
I mean, what a way to do it. The clutch factor, go all the way to all the distance for this one, right? Game 5 of the last heat on NAC. I mean, yeah, sure, you got the last chance qualifier left, but you don't want to go there. They went ahead, they clutched up, and, you know, we were kind of talking about how much they needed that game. They were on 47 points going into this last game, so they weren't even close to that threshold coming into this one. So definitely needed a huge game there. The only way to probably go ahead and mathematically do that one is to pick up that win. They do just that, patiently waiting on the low ground for everything to unravel above them, and they just played it perfectly.
let's relive the winners. Maybe you're tuning in, you missed out on who got themselves a victory on auto qualified onto finals next weekend. Here is a breakdown and the games that they got the VRs as well. Friends, okay, let's start to talk about the elephant in the room. Clix and Higgs. We knew going into that game 149 points. Okay, they were comfortably in the top 5, comfortably, you know, quote unquote. And fell pretty early in that last game to Peterbot and Pollo. Peterbot and Pollo decided, you know what, it's time. We're hunting down our rivals. We're gonna take them out. Make sure that they're whatever other points they've earned, no more. We're shutting it down. Many other players in this game, we started to follow really closely, right? You start to look in that bottom left, a little icon with the numbers, right? 149. You're starting to see other duos creep up, surpass those numbers. Now I got a question. Did they make it, Kelly? Did they make it? I'm scared. I'm scared.
Well, I don't want to spoil anything just yet, but for Clix and Higgs to be able to handle this Heat 3, to be able to go up against the likes of Pollo and Peterbot, and to kind of have this storyline play out before really even the grand finals. We know that there was a lot of pressure onto Clix and Higgs, but if there is anything that this duo can handle, it is the pressure. Yes, Peterbot and Pollo are the juggernauts of the region, and yes, although they might have won that game number 5, if we do look at that second page and see the threshold, Zeke, we might not see Clix and Higgs right here, but we do see them in that 14th place. Now, Zeke, that is very close. Probably a lot closer than a lot of us were going to expect. 1 point away from that precipice of hitting that 15th place. Vivid. Clix and Higgs might not wanted to be here for Heat 3, but I can imagine they're going to be making some changes for the grand finals.
Yeah, we were kind of watching that last game right there, and Kelly was pretty convinced that, oh yeah, 149, they were fine. I was like, I don't know, it's going to be pretty close. Turns out she was right, but I think it ended up being pretty close. But yes, they do qualify to finals. Doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you're going to be there. And we've kind of talked about it. Socials are going crazy. Everybody in the community is kind of realizing what's unfolding for the drop map ahead of those grand finals. So they have a lot to figure out ahead of them in terms of their early game. Probably want to, you know, adjust a couple of things going into some of the late games as well, maybe some of those mid-game fights. But like I said, in the grand finals, another one of the big teams that we were actually following today, Bugha and Crazy, you can see them up there in 11th place. They are through to finals as well, so cool to see that. And I did want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to Paper and Rezi. First of all, Paper, man, he is just always in the mix. He always finds himself qualifying for things, whether it be global championships, whether it be grand finals, right? We kind of like don't hear about him, and he just like comes back to the game. But it was all in the back of Rezi, man. An incredible solo clutch, and you actually saw it when we were looking at the standings. They went up 9 positions. They really, really needed a good game, so they got the job done. They went ahead and clutched it up. And as we watch some of the Bugha and Craze highlights from that last game, they also needed to pick up a couple of points to secure their qualification as well. And they did just that.
Oh my gosh, man. To think the very next step is the last chance qualifier. Still some names are going to have to take it there and battle it out. And only there's only a handful spots there, you know? I mean, look at 26th place, right? Noah W plays. Oliver OG in 22nd. We saw him make some a great play there and come out in 2nd place, but you know the competition was fierce. And I'm almost kind of like starting to look ahead. Obviously, like with the heats being somewhat chaotic, everyone's kind of split into their own heats. Now we're coming into one heat, right? From all of these different heats. Now we're kind of coming up with a more solidified plan. Hey, you know, everyone in the lobby, you guys have your drop spot, right? Like they're gonna be here, we're gonna be here. Obviously, like now we have to start kind of forming plans, Kelly. It's gonna be very different next weekend, and the fact that it's 2 days, crazy.
I mean, if you look to social media right now, there's already some plans being laid out for the rest of us to enjoy.
Going crazy.
Looks like Peterbot is going to be changing his drop spot to Wonky. Now, he just tweeted that out. I don't know if there's any validity to that statement. And then, of course, we just saw the tweet from Clix saying that he's going Wonky as well. So, Vivid, we haven't even gone to the grand finals yet, but it seems like the heat is already turning up.
Listen, we knew when we got scheduled these 3 heats, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, LCQ finals, they're going to be on Tuesday, and grand finals to quickly follow. We were in for one heck of a couple of weeks of Fortnite, and it's looking like we're going to get just that. NAC Zeke, it always delivers.
Oh man, I am so excited. What a fantastic weekend of Fortnite. As Vid called out, we will be here for the last chance qualifier on Tuesday, as will EU. So if you had questions, we're telling you right now, we'll be here. Make sure you tune in. Don't get crazy and wicked over there as well. As we start to wrap up, just wanted to say a massive shout out again, MDF and Jacob. These two phenomenal friends right here. Obviously, our friends over in EU, 3 days of Fortnite. Now we look forward to LCQ and then finals next weekend with spots going to the summit all on the line. Fortnite fan, we hope you have had fantastic weekend. Thanks for hanging out with us and watching some Fortnite and watching us freak out over it.
Oh my.
Until LCQ, we love you. Keep yourself safe. We'll see you on that battle bus.
Beep, beep.
Oh my god. Okay, so let's play some Fortnite, chat. Play some Fortnite. I learned nothing from any of the FNCS. I just wonder what I'm doing right now. We'll go to the bathroom. Be back.
Drop a message in text chat and keep it friendly.
There's a 1v2? I see. I see how it is. Come on, go push me. Too scared to push. Come on, push, gang! What? Whew. Yeah, need to warm up. This kid is way too nervous. What the? Oh my god. Moving on. 1v1. Oh, my aim is so bad. Okay. I watched it. It ended chat. And the elf on see us and not. Come on, bruh. What are the plans? Got him. Dang, you can't die like that. Go, ego, bro. It's just illegal to die like that, bro. It's illegal. Straight up, it's illegal, Charlie. You keep dying like that, bro. It's like, it's way too there's some too much games. I will go straight up to high ground. Way too easy. Yeah, the FCS was fire. And we'll maybe go live again at night for the grand finals. But I actually don't know. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. This looks like a. Oh my god! I lagged, and I somehow. It is one. Oh my. Yeah. I would go into this one. It looks like he's good at controller. Much now carrying me. Hello. Windows side. There's way too easy. Did I already leave chat? Already down at 6. Three. Like a spray game, like what? Already not dead, gang. It just killing. They're not that good. What is that? Get that kid there. Oh my. Can't lose that game. These guys doing the great on me. You're worse than my grandma. Ain't no way this kid did just the gritty, bruh. No one can just do the gritty on me, bruh. Oh, whoever I'm. What? Here's right there. Kid. Awesome. Snake. Oh, damn, that kid just got destroyed. No one is the emote on. No one emote on. Simple edit demon. Okay, what am I doing? Let's be honest, he's actually good. What? Straight up got this really wavy all around. Like, oh my lovely low. V1 sniper. Make a what? They're kind of do, gang. What are... Oh my bloody loud. Oh. Let it out. You're an absolute fat. What the? The guy just coned himself. Hey, where's my teammate? My teammate's telling me I call my teammate down. Solo one gang. I'm not gonna let them get high again. What a block. Holy clutch! Holy clutch! Yo, holy! Just no-scope someone in the head and I just... Oh my. He ran! You're not even in the game, bro. Are they in the game? Oh my. I straight up made them rage quit there. Straight up, game. I made them rage quit. Straight up rage quit them so hard, bro. I didn't know how I hit that, Loki. I'm down,
That's what's up, dude,
down
yeah.
life too. We just fire. This heck's a lot garbage. Hey, gang? Get out. Gang, that kid is so annoying. Could have got destroyed. All my life. All my life. I'll do a 2v2. 2v2. Do 2v2. It's not like should have 2v1, bro. It's way too easy. It was very annoying. This same lobby? On God, it's the same lobby. Okay. Alright. Holy airball. Hey, Phantom Bear. Where is he? Straight up. I make these kids rage quit so hard. Oh my, these kids do not play. Holy water. That jump pad is not on that. Holy water, how does spit wait not spit water? Oh my, these kids. My, I think a kid would decide to play them. This is Sean. Yeah, I'm gonna feel so bad cooking these kids. Yeah. Wasn't let my debating. I was actually 200 little cat. Bro, I'm at holy pink and I'm still gonna cook these kids. Yep. Get pay if I'm at this much thing. Holy ping levels. What's ping a mass plane on? Man, I'm Brazil. Damn pink right now, bro. Indian. Có mẹ là let me play on 100 ping. No, don't let me play on 100 ping. Tommy. Be back. I'm bad. Ooh. Oh. Hopefully, it left the game. Glad this is gonna be the most easiest game of like, pick me off. They even playing game. Like. Big menace. 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 I don't know what I'm saying. Oh, slippity checkity. Let's just say you're cheeky. I gotta get on fire. And this game is just wonderful. How fast just keep going? Like, they just went right through my box. Oh my god, yeah, it is. Alright. This kid is not in phase. Random kid is young. Holy, you're a corner. No, this kid is actually so unlucky. What's the kid doing? Care. I gotta yes, Mackie. Thing is my endpoint, chat. Holy clutch on this kid. Oh my. Oh my, this kid. He is so annoying. Teammate. Oh, where is this? What the? You're on level 67. I'm not dying to this kid. Like, I can't hit someone. Like, on, like, what? Game, like, stupid game. This game is stupid. You can fix your damn game. You mean like gang, like fix your damn game. I bet this kid is gonna go on this gang. I don't care. Wow, that's too nervous to fly bike. Huh? They gone. Like, what? Dang, I don't think they know I don't care they're not on the same team though. Kid is such a builder, bro. This kid heals, like, yeah, I hit him once and this kid heals. Like, what? Yo, that's some record here. It is one. Why is it so high? Suddenly, like what? I had the worst gun in the game. Game, bro. This kid sucks. Just, bro. I want this kid to be on my damn team. He's more garbage than my grandma. Some random stupid ass kid on my damn team. What? Gun does one single damage a second. It is such a spare. No. No. What's this game? Just shut this. Wait. Alright. In 6 damn hits to get in a fucking game. Like, what? Get these stop getting these stupid teammates. You don't even know what 1 + 1 is. Yeah.